It is 10 o'clock. This is not a recording. We are live.
Live today. Live.
Live in studio for the next 4 hours. As many of you are making, based on the traffic that I experienced this morning coming in, it appears that everybody is heading out of town. So we're here to inform and entertain and keep you company for the next 4 hours.
Yep. Be safe, everyone, this weekend. In all honesty, and I hope that most people do, but let's remember why we observe Memorial Day on Monday, and that is a lot of brave men and women who have fought for this country to defend our freedoms at home and abroad that have lost their lives in battle. And we certainly remember all those fine people here today and try to remember them every day, but especially on Monday.
Amen. That is coming up on Monday. So Memorial Day weekend is the official start of summer. That's kind of the holiday that kind of kicks everything off. SEC spring meetings will begin on Tuesday. Have a lot of news and information going on down in the wonderful beaches of Sandestin. So we'll have Mike Griffith. We'll have other folks on from the beach. Paul Feinbaum will be broadcasting live there as well.
One of my earliest memories of the start of summer as a kid was, and I forgot whose house we would go over to. It was a family member, but making homemade ice cream, which I don't eat, but I like the process of watching it being made, and badminton.
The only time of the year that you'd play badminton was during Memorial Day?
Yeah. Did you guys do anything like that?
We broke out the croquet sticks.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you ever do any croquet?
I did a little bit of croquet.
Yeah.
My grandparents had a set that it was just sitting there at their house, and when I go there, I didn't know what I was doing. But
I always wanted to act like the mallets were baseball bats.
Is that the one where you're on horseback?
That would be polo.
I like to take the mallets and pretend I was a giant and I was a judge and just use it as a gavel.
That too would be fun.
So you wanted to be Claudia Wilkin when you were a little boy?
I wanted to be giant Claudia Wilkin. No.
Maybe Claudia will rule today with her smaller mallet.
Yes.
Maybe we'll get a ruling. That would be nice if she did that for us.
Would that be nice? It'd be a nice little present heading into the weekend.
That would be fantastic. If you saw us on social media, all four of us was in attendance yesterday for the Tennessee Vols in the Texas Longhorns game. And Conrad and Molly both were pulling for Tennessee. You and I, we were neutral.
We were.
Because we were trying to be friendly to our Texas brethren. Yep. That's brand new.
Every member institution in our eyes, Pat, created equal in the Southeastern Conference.
But not for Molly and Conrad. Both of them were singing Rocky Top between the half innings.
Oh, we're
very obnoxious.
Saw a lot of redneck coming out in Conrad.
Yes. Very much so.
A lot of redneck.
Yeehaw.
It was very nice to meet your mother.
Yes,
yesterday.
it was. Yes, it was.
She's a fine woman.
Thank you. I'm glad that y'all.
In all honesty, yes, I can see.
She's so nice.
Conrad, as much grief as we give you and I give you, that you do come from good stock.
I do. I just like that Landrum's first comment to my mother was, "Hey, you remember the last time y'all were at a Texas sporting event together?" Thank you, Landrum. I'm glad
you had a potty mouth.
Yeah.
And your mom had to take you to the bathroom and wash your mouth out.
That's right. I was good yesterday.
And then Conrad, I see him over there trying to explain. He brings that up all the time. He brings it up all the time. I don't know why he does. I do.
First off, the crowd was incredible.
Yeah, it was.
It was just a great atmosphere. The game was even more incredible. Now, you and I, we departed before extra innings. I understand, Conrad, you made it right to the beginning of extra innings and you had to leave.
Yeah, I was walking out as Molly was texting us, Tennessee just hit a home run in the top of the 10th as I was getting in my car, and I was like, oh, man, maybe I should go back in, but then the game obviously went much longer than that.
Yeah, I was telling Conrad this morning, I didn't get home until like 8:15, 8:30. I felt like I was there for a long time.
How long did it take you to get out of the parking lot?
Maybe like 15 minutes.
That's
not as long as I thought it would. And I had no traffic going home.
Ask me how long it took me to get from Hoover to Trussville.
How long?
1 hour.
Whoa.
Well, you're right when you said you were leaving to beat the traffic, and
I failed.
Still got caught up in it.
You could have stayed.
Miserably. I could
and
have.
had no traffic like I did.
I could have.
It took me 25 minutes to get home, but that's because I had to stop at the Home Depot over there.
Just rub it in.
Yeah.
Just absolutely rub it in.
No, I had to get some new grass fertilizer.
Well, it was a heck of a game as Tennessee knocks off the number one team in America, the Texas Longhorns. So Texas's trip to Hoover was a very quick one.
Yes, it was.
They had all those buys and they come in and they just had many opportunities. Think about this. Texas made 36 outs. Okay? 36 outs in that baseball game. 18 of the 36 were via strikeout. Tennessee pitchers struck them out 18 times yesterday.
Well, I was making the joke to you. Does everyone that pitches for Tennessee have to throw 99 miles an hour?
I think that's a prerequisite.
Whether it's a starter, whether it's a reliever, they all throw 99 miles an hour.
Yeah. It plays.
It certainly does. My wife was, I said, well, good for Tennessee. And she said, really? Were you pulling for Tennessee? I said, no, but in retrospect, it's kind of like Texas. First year in the league, kind of want you to earn your stripes.
They won the regular season.
They won the
title.
regular season.
I
don't want you to go in your first year. You just start claiming all of these championships or winning all of these championships, not claiming.
Well, one thing's for sure, whether it's a pitching situation for the individual teams, there has been no evidence that anybody has come to Hoover just sandbagging it. Like, we're just going through the motions. Like they're there and they're there to win. So last night, after Texas lost to Tennessee, it was Vandy getting their first game under their belt, and they win 6-1 against Oklahoma. So Oklahoma had a good showing. They won their first two games. So they head back to Norman. The game that ended right as we were going off the air yesterday, Auburn was trying to pull the comeback, got a home run in the ninth inning, but they fell short. So A&M 3-2 winner over the Tigers. So it sets up today's action. Only two games. It'll be Ole Miss versus Arkansas. That's at 3 o'clock. So Ty Richardson and his Hogs will finally take the field in Hoover. And then the nightcap will be Texas A&M taking on LSU. And we've seen plenty of LSU fans, so they will finally get an opportunity to get inside the stadium and root for their team.
And I don't want to divulge any information and how we got the information, but it might not come as a surprise to any of our listeners, but maybe some. These regionals are pretty much already set. They know who is hosting a regional. Well, at least in some cases they do.
Yeah,
because those plans have already been made.
It's very similar to basketball.
Yes, but those plans have already been made. So it's fun, the drama of the selection show, but official announcements, they won't come out until that happens. But yeah, preparations have already been made at certain sites.
So whether you look at Baseball America or D1 Baseball, interesting stats. When you look at the RPI when it comes to baseball, when you take a look at what the region hosting situation is going to be, and Molly, they just updated Baseball America. Where's Alabama heading? Are they a number one seed? Are they hosting or are they traveling, according to BA?
Well, like I said yesterday, Conrad, pack your bags. Except this time you're not going to Fort Worth. You get to go
Clemson
to Tallahassee.
Oh.
You and FSU Dave can get
I know, we're just going to have to camp out for 4 months.
You kind of scouted out a little bit.
Yeah.
That's right.
So this is kind of a warm-up for the big tailgate that's going to come the first week in the college football season.
That'll be good. Right. That'll be a really good trip for you.
You should go.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll hit up Dave. We'll figure something out.
So yeah, you
call your Auburn friends and see where they stayed all those years.
It seemed like every year they were playing Tallahassee. Something else. So we'll see. Alabama's still on the outside looking in regards to hosting. And if that happens, because the latest RPI, I think I saw, Bama's like at number 11.
Oh, so they dropped a couple spots after losing to Tennessee?
Mm-hmm. But so we'll see what happens as Hoover gets underway. And speaking of Hoover, a good friend of the show, Tom Hart. Tom Hart was on the broadcast for the final couple games yesterday. He will join us at 12 noon from Hoover as we will get his take on the SEC baseball tournament. Also, Wimp Sanderson coming up at the bottom of the hour. And then we, of course, will talk to Barrett Salee from the Braves Radio Network, as the Braves already announced that Ronald Acuna Jr., he is back and ready to go tonight. So you had Strider the other night. So Acuna Jr., he will be there in attendance going up against the San Diego Padres. The Padres have lost 6 games in a row. So this comes at a good time as they head in to play the Braves. So let's give you a little taste of what you missed last night in case you were watching the SEC network. This is the way it sounded on the Braves Radio Network.
It's going to be a strike. Then you get some chases on it.
Well, that is not it.
That's a different game. This is the Braves.
Yeah.
2-2 pitch, and Olsen muscles one deep down the right field line and is gone. Another bomb by Olsen. Braves on top 1-0 on his 11th homer of the year. Sent a screamer right into the Nationals bullpen. Ozuna gets into one. Deep fly ball to left field. They've gone back-to-back again. They did it in Boston. They do it here in Washington. And it's 2-0 Braves. 0-2 to Wood. Line drive down the right field line. A fair ball right onto the chalk. Kicking off the sidewall. Carrying out in the medium depth right field. 1 runs in. 2 runs in. Here comes a 3rd run. Throw to the plate is up the line. 3-run score on the double by Wood. And it's 5-2 Nationals in the second. They're looking for something that they could pound right here to tie up the game. Only 1 down. 0-1 to the fly ball to deep right center field. Going back call. Call to the wall. It's over his head. Off the base of the wall. The game's at least tied. They hit the cutoff man. Here comes Riley. Play at the plate. He dives, and they've got him. But a run scores to tie the game on the RBI double by Olsen. Here it is from Lee. Line drive through the left side, a base hit. And for the first time this season, the Braves taste defeat in an extra innings game. Hassel scores. Nationals walk it off. They win 8-7 in 10 innings. And the Braves will head back to Atlanta with a losing record of 24-25.
So A.J. Smith-Shawver, who had pitched extremely well until last night, allowed 5 earned runs and 7 hits before recording his 4th out against Washington after being spotted a 2-0 lead after those homers that you heard at the very beginning of that montage as Olsen and Ozuna went back-to-back. I think that was the 5th time this year they've gone back-to-back.
Yeah. That's a Washington team that is not as bad as Washington teams we've seen in recent memory. I'm not defending the Braves. I don't think they're playing very good baseball at all right now. But it's all. I'm already to the point where I'm periodically just looking at the wild card race. So we're 3.5 games back in the wild card. I know there's a long way to go. This baseball team.
Hey, it's all right. Just wait until Memorial Day, and that's when you really figure it all out, right?
Got 3 days.
Oh wait, that's
right now.
This weekend.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. Maybe when Acuna gets there, they find the rhythm. Just certain guys that you absolutely have to have that have to hit the ball on a consistent basis. They're not doing it. Harris has been great with the glove. Got to figure things out at the plate. It's not just him. It's Albies has been terrible. Really, most everybody's been terrible.
Well, the Padres started
season's been terrible
on a very hot streak, and then all of a sudden they've lost 6 in a row now. But this is a good pitching matchup tonight. Nick Pivetta, he's 5-2, 2.86 ERA, goes up against Chris Sale, who's 2-3, 3.62 ERA.
And Pivetta, I got him on my ashes. He's on my fantasy team.
Would you want to win in fantasy or real life?
Both. If there's a way that I can win in both.
Well, yeah, okay.
I just want to win.
Yeah.
So right now, Atlanta is 7.5 games back in the National League East. But there's tonight, and you can hear the game right here on Jocks 94.5.
Snit needs to shave. We need to change some things.
Get rid of the goatee?
Yeah, change
you
it.
Don't like that?
No, I mean, I'm just looking at, if he wants to wear it on his face, that's fine. I'm just going from hey, maybe it's time for a fresh start. Maybe just a mustache. Like an old Don Mattingly mustache. Or Jim Leland. We were talking about him a lot yesterday.
Maybe Snickers should start smoking in the dugout.
Yeah, at this point, he's
More
in his
cigarettes.
70s. He's in his 70s. Just start smoking in the dugout. Be fine.
He probably wants to after some of these games.
He probably does.
Well, we have a long summer of heat and humidity ahead, so keep your home comfortable with Trane, America's most reliable HVAC brand. And to give you more peace of mind, Trane is offering up to 10-year warranties on parts and labor on select home comfort systems. So to learn more about this offer and to find a specialist near you, visit Trane.com.
Well, the CFP, that was the big story yesterday. They voted for straight seating, and already you're getting some backroom bickering and foot stomping from some other conferences. We'll tell you what's going on. That's next. 3-Man Front. It is 10:18, Jocks 94.5. A reminder, Wimp Sanderson coming up at the bottom of the hour. Barrett Sallee at 11 at 12 noon. Tom Hart of the SEC Network. He'll join us from Hoover. He'll be on the call as the SEC baseball tournament rolls along for the weekend.
And as summer rolls along, you want the inside of your home, the outside of your home, or your business to be protected from the likes of ticks, mosquitoes, fire ants, stinging insects, what we call the barbecue party crashers. Well, I got great news for you. Stark Exterminators, a family-owned company for over 61 years. They've been taking care of the Roberts household for over 3 years. They're here to help you. You can call today for the free home or business pest inspection by simply calling 855-STARK now or visit starkexterminators.com. When you do so, one of their great team members is going to come out to your home or place of business, inspect it thoroughly inside and out, address any existing issues that you have. You won't have to worry about those. You'll have peace of mind there. But also look at maybe some troublesome issues that might arise down the road. Stark Exterminators, give them a call today for the free home or business pest inspection. 855-STARK now or visit starkexterminators.com. 100% of your satisfaction as customers guaranteed. Always tell them Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So yesterday, in a unanimous vote, the College Football Playoff Committee voted to change the straight seeding this season for the CFP. The top 4 seeds get first-round byes regardless if it won the conference title. Conference champs will still get auto bids if they're ranked in the top 4. This will be the final year of a 12-team playoff. We're expecting that starting in 2026, we're either going to have a 14 or a 16-team expanded playoff. So the decision yesterday does come with a financial compromise. We told you yesterday that the teams that were going to have a bye, let's say, for instance, last year, Arizona State, they got an automatic $8 million for getting that bye. Well, now that they have stripped the byes from the teams that's not in the top 4, basically what's going to happen now is you're still going to get your $8 million. So there was a financial price tag with this compromise. Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark, he gave a quote to CBS Sports in which he says the decision might not be the best thing for the Big 12, but it was the best thing for college football. I hope that's best for college football continues to be the priority in discussions moving forward. So obviously the Big 12 having a situation where if you're not one of the top 4 teams, they will not get a bye under the old system. They had the chance to do that, i.e. what Arizona State had happened last year. Now, Boise State's AD, he goes on social media yesterday and he basically, in a very nice way, but he blasts the decision to do away with the automatic byes in regards to the non-Power 4. Be honest with you, that's what's going to happen. The Power 4 teams are going to get the byes. The Mountain West will not. He was pissed. He wasn't very happy.
Well, I don't know what to tell him other than the fact that politic and do your best to try to get into one of those Power 4 conferences.
No, I think we can all understand where the frustration comes from, but I think we also all understand the reality that that's probably fair as it stands right now.
But I would ask him the same question. Would you have this same stance if you could remove yourself from being the athletic director of Boise State as a college? Because we were all looking at it last year and going, well, this is not right. But if you ask Rhett Lashley, he'd say that, the same thing because he was just in one of those non-Power 4 conferences until last year. No, this is the way to go. This makes sense.
The group of 4 commissioners, according to multiple reports yesterday, that they have met multiple times via Zoom calls, Teams calls, whatever, over the last couple of weeks. The ACC and the Big 12 are trying desperately to put their stamp on the new college football playoff model, which starts in 2026. Here's a summary of what they've been discussing. The proposed 16-team playoff format, which is supported by the Big 10 and the SEC, grants the 4 automatic qualifiers for the SEC Big 10, 2 automatic qualifiers for the ACC and the Big 12. That would include 3 at-large spots. So if you hear the number 44221, that is the proposal that the SEC and the Big 10, that's the one that they're going to move forward with. Meanwhile, the alternative model, this is what the ACC and the Big 12 are stomping their feet about behind closed doors. They're pissed. They want a 4-4-3-3-1 concept, which basically gives the ACC and the Big 12 an additional automatic qualifier. They also want a 16-team field They also want alternatives in which you would have more at-large bids for the smaller conferences. So they're trying to say, okay, we want more, but we also want to throw a bone to the Mountain West and the AAC and whoever else. Now, the Big Ten and the SEC, to their credit, as of this moment, the president and the athletic directors from both conferences, they're not hearing of it, and they are 100% the 4-4-2-2-1 model, which, again, gives 4 teams automatic qualifying from the SEC and the Big Ten. So despite all the pushback, and despite the fact that this is going to be a PR nightmare for the SEC and the Big Ten once they pull the trigger, they don't care. And I applaud that, because it is about time that somebody leads, and the Big Ten and the SEC are in a position to do so. Make it happen. And if these other teams can't come along, they can't afford it, then go start another subdivision and go play football with the Miami of the Ohios of the world. I'm tired of hearing about this. Just make it so. So the SEC and the Big Ten, behind closed doors, they're basically telling the ACC and the Big 12, you either play ball with us or don't play ball at all. This is what's happening. And I don't care what kind of PR nightmare this might look like for us when we pull the trigger.
It'll be forgotten about by the time the season starts.
Absolutely. And if you want to continue to get any checks at all from college football, then you better sign off on this.
Well, I don't know this for certain, but I could see Jim Phillips, because we've heard his comments, and look, I'm all for academics, but when you tie it in and try to justify certain decisions that are being made about this billion-dollar industry we call college football, it falls on deaf ears. But also with Brett Yormark, they know, but they have a duty on they have a responsibility representing those conferences that they do to their member institutions to put this out there.
They don't want to make themselves look weak.
No, but they know full and well that this is going nowhere, but they have to put it out there.
Well, and why did they agree last year to give the SEC and Big Ten, power in these situations? Because they understood that having a seat at the table is better than not having a seat at the table. You're not going to be at the head seat of the table, but that's fine. You still have a seat.
They want it documented. Look, we tried.
Absolutely.
We did all we could.
Yep.
Well, and FSU Dave just texted me, and I agree with what he's saying, because he said you also have to applaud Jim Phillips and Brett Yormark for fighting for their conferences. Absolutely.
Sure.
That's their job.
That is what they get paid millions of dollars to do, and they should be fighting for them. But the data is going to prove that over the course of the history of the college football playoff, the Big Ten Conference has averaged, based on this new system, if you go to 16, that the Big Ten would have 5.3 teams per year that would qualify based every year because of the record of playing in the college football playoff. The SEC would be right behind the Big Ten with 5 teams. So 5.3 for the Big Ten, 5 for the SEC. That's another reason why they say, hey, look, we want 4. I mean, heck, based on the data, the SEC and the Big Ten could say we want 5 apiece. Not just 4, we want 5. So that model, the 4-4-2-2-1 model, once that gets done, and once the 9-game SEC schedule is approved, hopefully behind closed doors next week, it will be a handshake deal. And then once the Claudia Wilken decision comes down and that moves forward, then the Big Ten and the SEC can go ahead and consummate their schedule deal in which they will play 1 game per team, per league, and there will be a rotation basis because there's more teams in the Big Ten than the SEC, and try to make that work out. So that's what you're looking at over the course of the next couple of weeks.
And so would that start in 2026, you think? The
Yes.
SEC Big Ten Challenge,
Yes.
whatever we want to call it?
That would be a clean, nice way, a new college football playoff, SEC, the Big Ten. Because keep in mind, the SEC does not have a schedule after this year in regards to a conference schedule. This was a Band-Aid that was put on the conference a couple of years ago because they ultimately knew that in 2026, there was going to be a lot of potential changes, and that's going to happen. One other note I want to pass along. Yahoo Sports is reporting that the officials within the Big Ten and the SEC, they're both in deep discussions over holding season-ending conference tournament-style matchups where the leagues would pit their 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th place teams against one another in potential play-in games for their final 2 automatic qualifying spots. So they're talking about basically the Big Ten and the SEC playing each other at the end of the season as the play-ins.
Oh, so it's not going to be the 4 SEC team. Oh. Okay. I like that.
So they could do it that way, or they could keep it within internally. So there's a lot of things that they're discussing right now.
Head to head, because of all those stats and all those numbers you just gave us, the one that disturbs me the most, and I could see it in Conrad's face, I don't like the Big Ten being ahead of us in that average in 5.3 to 5%.
Nope.
Yeah.
Molly, quit smiling.
It's a rounding
It's not
error.
good.
Don't like it.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Take that Big Ten. Get it out of here.
If we round down, it's just 5.
That's right. It's got to be 5.5 to round up.
That's right.
So
It's fine.
So it could be a cross-conference type situation, or it could be within the conference, as we have discussed previously, where 3 would play 6, 4 would play 5. But there's also conversations in regards to, okay, so what happens if you get one of those upsets where you've got the 4th best team and they lose to the 5? Then are they just automatically not in consideration anymore because they had to play that so-called play-in game? So there's a lot of things on the table, but that was a big step yesterday, heading in the right direction with the seating change with the CFP.
Can't wait for Illinois to eliminate Alabama in the play-in 2026. That's going to be awesome.
feel like we're getting stuff done. Now if we can just figure out this NIL thing.
Yeah. Get that done. We're heading in the right direction.
Claude.
Baby steps.
But one thing's for sure, when you and FSU Dave are hanging out at the baseball regional in Tallahassee, you guys can kind of work some of this out.
Oh, yeah. We'll figure it out. We'll send it off to the
powers
people
that
in
be.
charge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, coming up next, Wimp Sanderson, former Alabama head basketball coach. He will join us, brought to you by Craneworks, on this holiday edition of Three Man Front as we head into Memorial Day weekend. This is Jocks 94.5. It's 10:33, Jocks 94.5. We are live on this Memorial Day weekend on a Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Pat Landrum, Conrad, and Molly. Each and every week, we are blessed to be joined by the former head basketball coach of the University of Alabama. Just a true gentleman and a great guest each and every week. Brought to you by Craneworks. It's now time for Wimp Sanderson.
Lift it, load it, grade it, grind it, move it, haul it, rig it, dig it, Craneworks, Rentalworks, yeah, the big dog's got it.
Wimp Sanderson on Three Man Front is brought to you by Craneworks. Lift it, buy it, rent it. The big dog's got it. And now, Wimp Sanderson.
And now the coach, Wimp Sanderson, in his Bermuda shorts, I'm sure.
Yep.
Joining us.
There I am.
Yep. You got him on?
Are you there?
Hey, we're here.
Can you hear me? I did Bruce Pearl for Jimmy Rain. We had 1,000 people there. I emceed that deal. And then for the last, in 1960, 62, Terrence Gardner from Jasper would entertain the coaches on a trip where they went fishing. And so since that time, that's a long time ago, you guys weren't even born. We've had a get together after the Jimmy Rain thing that they'll really go together, but we've had a get together before they go to Destin, and we have it down in Gulf Shores, and we have it at Kiva Dunes, and so the Jasper people pay for the trip for all the coaches to go down there. All the football and basketball coaches go down and they spend 2 days and play golf. So that's what I've been doing. No media is allowed down there. I'm not considered media, so. We had a good time. I had dinner with Coach DeVore, and he's really a good guy. You got to pull for him. He knows what he's doing. Got to visit with the defense coordinator. Got to visit with last year's offensive coordinator, and told him I know how hard that was. For all the offensive coordinators at Alabama in football. And so we had a good visit and a good time, and came back yesterday and. I'm moving to Tuscaloosa sometime in the near future. And so I've been going through a lot of different things. Bruce just talked about recruiting and so forth. Nate did tell me that they need one more player. Probably they feel like that they, might need a point guard, that he has going to have the best shooting team maybe that he's ever had. That's what he says. And I'm not trying to quote him. I'm just telling you what in the visit we had. And so he's trying to get another point guard. So that's what they're looking for. Of course, Bruce and them having to revamp their whole team. I don't know anything about their schedules. I know Alabama's going to play St. John's. Football-wise, I think the big thing is that they didn't lose any players, that the players stayed with them. And I think that's a liking of what they do with their team and their opportunity to play. I'm not telling y'all anything, that you don't know. Ty's going to be the starting quarterback. And nothing was said about this down there, but I'll say it. The most important thing is, and I think he deserves it because he knows more about the defenses that come about, is that the two people that are also very athletic and very good quarterbacks hold their stead and don't leave. And hopefully I don't think they will. I think both of them are very, 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 very athletic. I know I'm talking too much, but very, very athletic and, very good. But when you have three at any position, you're always concerned about that. That's enough for me. What else?
I was going to ask you, since you had an opportunity to be around Kalen DeBoer, do you sense that he understands that there is this building pressure, especially going 9-4 last year, that there's a certain segment of the fan base believes that 9-4 is not good enough?
We didn't really discuss it. I do think he's comfortable. He's comfortable where he is.
Okay.
That he's not going. I think his family's comfortable, which is pretty important. Got 2 or 3 girls. One of them's still back up in Washington, I think, playing softball or something. But he didn't really talk about that. I just asked him how he liked Tuscaloosa, just simple questions. And I know this. When he gave me answers, he gave me straight answers. He didn't give me, he kind of I had interviewed him one time on my show, and he knew a little bit about my past, which was good, bad, and none of the above, and so he's I think he's comfortable in what he's doing. I think he's disappointed in, of course, the 2 losses to Oklahoma's and Vanderbilt's. I think he's handled the team, and the assistants have handled the team in a way that you want to say, well, they're keeping them because they're too soft. I don't think so. Because they're soft with them, I don't think so. I had the sense and the feeling that they stayed because they liked playing for him, that they liked what they did. Now, I know the spring practice was different. I got all that. I was there before y'all were born. So I know that there wasn't a spring game. There wasn't even quite as much knocking, hitting. But I think he was a good fit. Just on a personal basis, I like him a great deal. I was around him a couple of nights. And so we'll see what happens. I don't know that I answered your question very good, but I don't really know the complete answer to it. I'm sure he knows that Oklahoma and Vanderbilt getting beat by them is not good.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, Coach, and you're not speaking for him. I want everybody that's listening to understand that. Just
sure not.
If you had to guess, and this sometimes is interpreted as unprepared or you didn't know what you were getting into, and I think Kalen DeBoer did, but we all know that certain experiences, you have to experience them before you truly appreciate it. What do you think, if you just had to guess, last year coaching at Alabama, maybe what was eye-opening to him? Whether it was on the field, whether it was surrounding the program, off the field, what would you guess? Because you have been in that seat and you had a lot more history there.
Yeah. Who do I talk to? Who can I trust? Right. I don't know that now because I just got the job. I didn't have any idea the feeling was probably the way it was from A to Z. Maybe I knew it was a football factory, not factory, or whatever you want to say. But I think it was a situation where he's pretty comfortable with it. I don't think he's uncomfortable. And I think he would be a guy that could move on if things didn't go good. And they're not ever going to go good with Coach there as good as he did. They're just not. And if people don't understand that, they need to take a hike. So I think he's understandable. I think he comes across with his personality, being at different places, being successful at that everything is going to be okay. And whether that works or not, I don't know. I don't think I've answered your question.
No, you did, good. And I appreciate you actually answering
it. He just is comfortable with what he's doing. Boy, that's important when you try to take Coach's place. And we didn't talk about him versus Coach or anything like that. And I do think the athletic director spoke and thanked the people from Jasper for having us. I've been on these things. I came to Alabama in 1960, so I've been on one of these. And these trips are Wednesdays and Thursdays before they go to Destin, and they flew out to Destin Friday afternoon. And some of the coaches flew on back to Tuscaloosa. And actually, the head basketball coach, head football coach, and athletic director go to Destin, and the rest of them pretty much go home and get ready. So. And I'm one of these guys. I try to tell the truth about things as far as people liking or disliking coaches. I think he's a good fit. If you pleased everybody, you'd be a genius. You can't. You're not in the job to please everybody. You're in the job to please the coaches and the players. And get the players to play in the way they need to play. So I think he's capable of doing that personally.
He is the coach, Wimp Sanderson. He will continue the conversation here with us. Coach is always presented by Craneworks. The Friday edition, the holiday edition of Three Man Front continues on Jax 94.5.
It is 1047, Jocks 94.5. We continue our conversation with Coach Wimp Sanderson, brought to you each and every week by Craneworks. Coach, the SEC baseball tournament is going on in Hoover, and we all know you're a huge baseball fan. Cleveland Indians, there's
they
talk.
couldn't beat their grandmother. The Cleveland Guardians couldn't beat their grandmother.
Hey, well, here's one thing, Coach. I continue to read that there is a growing sentiment in the Cleveland area of trying to return the name.
It's going to happen, Indians. Coach. It's going to happen.
What do you think of that?
Well, they didn't have any balls when they named it the Guardian.
Yeah.
Baseballs, that is.
Yes. That's exactly right.
Anyway, you're right there. And let me tell you something. First of all, let me tell you this before we get it. You ask good questions. I don't ever like to talk around what you ask me. I try to tell you what I think. And in a couple of these things, I can't really, being around a head coach two nights in a row, you don't know everything. I like the guy. I think he's going to do a good job. And I think, the program's in good shape. So, baseball, I'll go back to that. I just don't like to get on here and you feel like I don't answer you.
No, we've never thought
baseball,
that.
Baseball has come to the SEC and made what it's made to start off with because of the weather. Now, what the weather has done for baseball in the SEC, it has brought back the athletic director's job to get a good baseball park for their fans and for their team, and to recruit baseball guys as best they can. 11 and 1/4 scholarships is a joke, but to get the kind of coaches they need. I asked a guy today on my show on baseball about is it coaches, is it parks, or is it the weather? And he answered it kind of like I would answer it. The weather brought them down here, but once the weather brings them down here to play in your program, you got to recruit the best players you possibly can in order to play. And so that has made the parks better. You've got a former guy at Alabama as the athletic director at Auburn. You've got Alabama's hired a very good baseball coach, and when you go to the World Series, you're going to find there's a lot of good, fine SEC teams in the World Series. I don't know about the tournament in baseball, because if you're not careful, you'll end up pitching your best pitchers and not having for the NCAA tournament. I hadn't decided about that, but it's a little bit different in basketball. But I think baseball is, for a lot of people that listen to your show, not as big as football, maybe not as big as basketball, but you two guys know baseball and you like it, and I like it as well.
Coach, a lot of people don't know this if they were listening the day that you told us, but you actually have coached baseball at the college level.
I did. Happy Campbell was. I'll tell you what you do. You get your brochure and go back to see what Happy was ever Coach Bryant when he came back from Texas A&M. Happy came to me one day. Coach Riley came to me and said, "We need." They had freshman teams back then. Okay, so he said, "We need somebody to coach the freshman baseball team. I need for you to do it." They didn't ask me. They told me, "I need for you to do it." I was making $175 a month, so I was making big money. So they put me putting out a thing to have all the baseball guys that wanted to try out for baseball to come out. We had a truckload of them thinking they could play. They couldn't play dead in a cowboy movie, but they all came out, and we had a freshman baseball schedule. Just like we had freshman basketball teams, freshman football teams, back before any of these guys that listen to the show, and they probably turned the radio off. Anyway, I'm not sure whether it's Montevallo or not, but I got them all together. We looked at the pictures. We kept as many as we could keep to make them happy. We didn't have great uniforms for them, and lo and behold, we played. I think it was Montevallo. I'm not sure. We played a doubleheader, and we had a doubleheader no-hitter.
Oh wow!
A doubleheader, yeah.
Wait, both games?
A doubleheader, yeah. A doubleheader no-hitter. You know who took credit for it? Me.
You should have that $175.
Of course you did.
Absolutely.
And so there's a couple of guys, there's a couple of media guys that know about that. Most media guys don't, but we had a doubleheader, no hitter. Can't remember if it was Montevallo who it was. And I coached baseball in high school. I wasn't no great baseball coach. I know that the pitchers and catchers are pretty important. And you put a guy in right field, he can't play very good. So that's about it. Yeah. And when I get down and out, they say, "How are you, Wimp?" I say, "I'm in right field without a glove. I'm about out of it." That's kind of the way I am right now. So that's what we did.
Well, as far as workload and what these college coaches get paid, if you went back and you couldn't be a college basketball coach, what sport would you choose to coach? I would think that coaching golf would be great at some of these SEC schools.
Yeah, coaching golf would be great. Yeah, you know, as long as you get enough golf balls. When I was doing it, and Sonny don't know jack crap about anything, but when I was doing the radio show with Sonny, guy gave me some noodle golf balls. It's a hard ball.
Suck up next to the hole.
I got to say, long straight. You were working with us, long straight and suck up by the hole. And every time I would play in a pro-am, naturally didn't get to play in this because they said I was too old. Anyway, every time I'd go, a guy would holler at me, long straight and suck up by the hole when I was in the fairway trying to play. Well, lo and behold, Landon, Pat, I got 6 dozen a month.
What?
6 dozen a month?
Oh, yeah, thank you very much.
What?
I still got some, yeah.
Man.
Because I was advertising, I think it's either 3 or 6 dozen a month. And so they said, what about those noodles? I said, let me tell you something. The noodle, you can hit the noodle so far that when you get to it with your golf cart, your battery's dead. So, so anyway.
That's good.
Anyway, it got to be so cotton picking corny, and Sonny didn't know anything what was going on. I said, "Sonny, let me do this advertising about golf balls."
Oh,
and, I wouldn't go give him any golf balls.
No, he's the coach, Wimp Sanderson. These great visits every single Friday here on 3 Man Front. And Coach, we couldn't do it without our good friends at Craneworks.
Well, we sure couldn't. Craneworks will either knock it down or build it up. Craneworks will have an operator there to build it back up for you. Mobile, Huntsville, Florence. No, well, not so much Florence. Mobile, Huntsville. That's where I'm from. Florence, Birmingham. So Craneworks is the very best. That if you need something to rent it, they go to Rental Works, and Rental Works will they'll send an operator in there with you, and you can do it as well. So, hey, get on the internet, look at Craneworks.com, take a look at what they do, and you'll be well pleased. David and them do a great job. You guys are just as good as they are. Talk to you later.
Hey,
thanks,
Coach. You, Coach. Have a great weekend. Coach Wimp Sanderson, presented by Craneworks on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR needs. One of the jokes that was told on the Sonny and Wimp show, and going back to Wimp talking golf, that I still retain it to this day. How did the guy break his ankle at the golf course? Any guesses? Fell off the ball washer. We'll be back.
Always a great conversation with Wimp Sanderson, brought to you by Craneworks. If you missed it, you can go back and download the Three Man Front podcast. We're live in studio today as we head you into the weekend, the Memorial Day weekend. We will not be here on Monday, but we'll be back at Social Taco at 10 a.m. on Tuesday. Barrett Sleeve from the Braves Radio Network will join us momentarily, talking about the Braves as they return home. Started series this weekend against the San Diego Padres, losers of their last 6 in a row. And Ronald Acuna Jr. is expected to be in the starting lineup tonight.
How about our friends at Dobbs Ford, Parkway East in Birmingham? Rachel Goshen, her husband, Joey Goshen. They're the managing partners at Dobbs Ford, but it's not just the Goshens, the husband and wife team, that make things go. They just got an entire staff that are just salt of the earth people. You're going to know it when you go on the lot and you interact with them. And whether you ever buy a car, truck, or SUV from our friends at Dobbs Ford, you're going to appreciate the experience and how you are treated. And right now, on certain makes and models, you get Ford employee pricing. You pay what the Ford employees pay 90 days until your first payment. You can't beat that. It's Alabama's largest showroom selection of F-150s, Explorers. You want to go Mustang convertible, Broncos, or Bronco Sports, and ask about the Dobbs edition in some of those makes and models. Absolutely incredible. Great pre-owned selection as well. Financing is available. It's Dobbs Ford. Nobody's going to beat their best price. DobbsFordBirmingham.com. Check them out, and always tell them Landrum from Three Man Front and Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So yesterday at the SEC baseball tournament, it was Texas A&M beating Auburn 3-2, and the middle game of the day that we were in attendance for, it was the Tennessee Vols beating the Texas Longhorns 7-5. That was in 12 innings. Then the last game of the evening had Vanderbilt knock off Oklahoma 6-1. So it sets up today's games, just 2. There at the Hoover Mat. It will start at 3 o'clock today as the Ole Miss Rebels, the 7 seed, will be facing off against the number 2 seed, the Arkansas Razorbacks, the nightcap. The surprise team so far of the tournament, Texas A&M, they'll go up against the 3 seed, LSU. Tomorrow, it will be Tennessee versus Vanderbilt in game 1, and then the winner of Ole Miss Arkansas will play the winner of Texas A&M and LSU in the second game on Saturday. And then the championship game is scheduled for 2 o'clock on Sunday. Now, the weather forecast does not look good for Sunday and Monday. So hopefully they can get the games in okay on Sunday. But it appears that Memorial Day does not look like a Chamber of Commerce day like we've had over the course of the last 3 or 4 days. We're trying to catch up with Barrett Sallee. He's on his way to the ballpark as they get ready for the series this weekend against the San Diego Padres. We hope to catch up with him momentarily. Last night, the Braves lose in Washington, D.C. It was a very short series because one of the games got rained out, but unfortunately, the Braves went 0-2 in the nation's capital, back below 500, find themselves 7.5 games out in the National League East. And joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline from the Braves Radio Network, Barrett Sallee joins us. Barrett, it was a very short series there in D.C., and unfortunately, the Braves, some close games, but they come back home under 500 as they get ready for the Padres.
Yeah, disappointing 2-game set for sure. A.J. Smith-Shawver, I don't know if anybody saw that coming yesterday. Seven earned runs in 3 innings is not what, A.J. is supposed to do. That's not what anybody expects from a guy who, in my mind, is the front runner for Rookie of the Year. So that's disappointing. But the Braves hit that button quickly after that game, announcing Ronald Acuna Jr. is coming back tonight. So, there's hope around the team. I mean, even last night, we played sound from Snit and from AJ Smith-Shawver and Matt Olson, and even after a loss, I mean, they were upbeat because they knew, and they referenced this, that the plan all along was to get Ronald back today. And so it's almost like they're wiping the slate clean. And, I talked about this on the Brave Central podcast this morning. Look, they're an average team, so they're going to lose to average teams. And this is not a normal Nats team. They're pretty good. They've got a really strong core of offensive players. And we've seen that really not only this past week, but also last week when they were here in Atlanta. The Braves are an average to slightly above average team right now that, has done a pretty good job of digging out of that 0-7 hole. With Ronald back, maybe that is what it takes to become a championship caliber team, because they still have it in them. It's just, it's been sort of disjointed pretty much all year.
Well, you just said it, Barrett, and I was going to ask you, where is the ceiling for this team? Because I realize that there's been injuries, and you have these sluggish periods in baseball. It's good to see Matt Olson heating up, and we know Ozuna, he was there from the start. He's tailed off a little bit. Austin Riley, the same thing. I don't know. It's hard to get a grasp on this team for me right now as a fan. I would love to hear it from your perspective. What is the ceiling for this team? What do you see? I know you just mentioned championship, but what is it?
Well, I think in this day and age, it is championship. Like, this is a championship caliber team because they can get into the playoffs and they're good enough to get hot. And, like, look back at 2021. Were the Braves the best team in baseball for 162?
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But they got in, they got the job done, and they got hot at the right time. And look, that's how baseball is built. So, yes, they are championship caliber. Are they the Dodgers? Absolutely not right now. There's no doubt about it. Are they, the Yankees or whoever? No, they're not. But in baseball these days, to be a championship caliber team, we saw this a few years ago with the Rangers too. You just have to be good enough to get there and good enough to, win short series. And they 100% are built that way. It's almost an exact opposite of the 90s Braves teams that were obviously good enough for 162. They did it consistently. But then when short series came around in the playoffs, they weren't built that way. This team is constructed in a way that is championship caliber. And with Ronald back, I think, they'll show that because they'll be good enough to be a playoff caliber team. And that's all you need to be a championship caliber team now. Now, I am interested to see what the lineup looks like tonight. It would not surprise me if Michael Harris II moves down to number 9 today. And I said this on the podcast this morning. By the end of next weekend, Michael Harris II, no doubt, will be the number 9 hitter. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, you got that double leadoff situation. I know Tony La Russa used to do that in St. Louis. Back when the pitchers hit, he would have basically, in the 9 hole, he would bat his pitcher 8th, and then he'll bat somebody 9, and then obviously your leadoff guy. So basically, he called it a double leadoff, and that's kind of what you're talking about with Michael Harris. And Ronald Acuna coming back, I assume he's going to bat leadoff tonight. And that was one stat that kind of shocked me about the Braves because so far this season, they have the 3rd worst OPS for their leadoff hitters. And that was kind of shocking to me. So Ronald Acuna will definitely inject a little bit, not only excitement, but probably some better numbers than the leadoff hitters have had so far.
No doubt. And like that OPS number, like, look, the slugging's part of it, right? And Verdugo doesn't slug. I mean, right, and Ozzy, is not a leadoff hitter. It's kind of been a struggle to find somebody there because Verdugo should not be batting leadoff. Michael Harris II has never really been good in that. Well, he's been okay in that spot at times, but certainly not this year. And Ozzy, I mean, I don't know with Ozzy, but yeah, the OPS has been a problem. And if Ronald can get some protection, then I think he's going to be just fine. And he will bat leadoff. Snit told us that last night. I'm interested to see what happens at the number 2 spot because, it's Ben Austin and then either Ozuna or Matt Olson, either 1, 3rd or 4th. If Austin's at number 2, what do they do to Acuna? Because Austin's not that much of a threat right now. So there are a bunch of different ways that Snit can manipulate this lineup with Ronald back to try to get some of his stars healthy again, going again, back to the level. So it's a good problem, right? We're talking about, really the weak link being, Nick Allen, and Nick Allen's been fine, right? I mean, I think he's been a perfectly adequate shortstop hitting wise, and we all know what Eli White can do. So it's going to be fascinating to see what Snit does over the next week and a half. But like I said this on the podcast, Michael Harris II will be the permanent 9-hole hitter by the end of next weekend, and that is a good thing. And he loves batting ninth.
Well, how do you see the platoon working out in the outfield? You mentioned Eli White and also Verdugo, but with Michael Harris, he's going to be out there. Ronald Acuna Jr., fingers crossed, stays healthy. He's going to be out there. Profar, who knows what he looks like after his 80-game suspension and post not taking his vitamins, air quotes. Barrett, what does that rotation in your eyes look like potentially?
The impression that I get from the organization is that they are not giving Profar anything. He's going to have to earn his job back.
Good.
And he'll get a chance to do that. But I'm curious to see if he can even be good enough to do that, because maybe last season his success was built on those vitamins, because he hadn't been that guy before. So he is not going to be owed anything. He's going to have to win it back. My guess is that, I know there's that lefty-righty thing with Verdugo and Eli. My guess is that Eli still gets the majority of those at-bats, most of those starts, because Verdugo really doesn't do anything that Eli can't do, and Eli's got the legs, and he's a better defender. So, I know there's the lefty-righty thing, and they'll certainly play that matchup game, but you're going to see Eli, in my mind anyway, if I'm guessing, you're going to see Eli still hit against some righties because of what he does bring to the table and what Verdugo really doesn't and really hasn't shown lately. Verdugo has not been that great lately.
I know that he got it done. I still don't trust him, and we've kind of had this conversation. Any more thoughts on the closer role when we do start getting opportunities to actually get saves and close out games? Iglesias just no.
I know. I know. I got you. It's frustrating. It's like Will Smith before Will Smith became the dude in the 2021 playoffs.
Barrett, even the pitches he's getting outs on, guys are tattooing it, and it's just going right at someone.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say unfortunately, because I'm with you. Unfortunately, he did buy himself a few more weeks because he has been successful. And I'm sitting there in the studio going, oh, man, I don't want him to be good. I want him to fail like 2 more times, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore. But I think that Daysbell, they trust Daysbell enough. They 100% know that if we get bad Rysel again, Daysbell's going to be in there very quickly, because it wasn't just us from the outside looking in. There was definitely concern about what to do next. I kind of likened it to what happened with Marcell Ozuna 2.5 years ago, where he literally was going to be released after getting back from Miami had he not hit like 750,000 balls over that wall in Miami, because I honestly think he was like 12 for 14.
Yeah.
And he was going to get released, like, had he not done that. And I think they were getting to that point with Russell.
All right, Barrett, give us a little preview of this weekend. Everyone can hear the games right here on Jocks 94.5 as the Padres, they are on a 6-game losing streak as they make their way to the ATL this weekend.
Yeah, it's not the same Padres team we saw, but Nick Pivetta is going tonight, and he's good. It's going to be a great pitching matchup today with Chris Sale going for the Braves. Obviously, Ronald being back is the big story, but the pitching matchups, in theory, you look at them, and you're going to get some fun games because of the matchups. With that said, I mean, this is one of the worst stretches the Padres have ever had. Like Chris Domino, my co-host, he went and did some digging. Like, this is the worst 6-game stretch the Padres have had literally since the first year of their existence. I mean, it's been that bad in a lot of different ways. So, I hope we don't we're not the team that gets that fixed. But, I think for the Braves, jump on Pivetta, jump on Michael King, get to these guys early because they're fragile. They're the Braves from a month and a half ago, right? If one thing goes wrong, the whole thing snowballs, and that is kind of where San Diego is right now. So I think the Braves are ready to get this done. But the injection of energy from Ronald Acuna, and we heard it last night. Matt Olson had a great game, but you could tell just the thought of Ronald returning was exciting. So that coupled with Ozzy's been better, Matt's been awesome. You're going to see. I would imagine. I don't want to say this out loud because I'll jinx it, but I'm going to do it anyway. 2 out of 3 and a sweep possible.
Okay, no, we'll take it. Barrett, by the way, me and wife are going to be there next Sunday for the game versus the Red Sox for affiliate day, and I was hoping that we would be able to see you. I could introduce you.
I will be there. Just let me know where you are. I will come find you. Like honestly, during the game, like the majority of my job is like walking around, seeing people that I know, writing down highlights in my phone, and trying to figure out what I want to eat.
Well, we'll be in the good seats because that's provided by our friends with the Braves Radio Network. So we appreciate all of you guys.
Get that invite.
Well, you've got options. You got options, but it's a fun day. We made it an annual thing, and we appreciate Ed and all those folks for making it happen.
Cool. Yeah, I'll be there.
All right. Well, Barrett, we appreciate the time. Let's go. Let's get a sweep. At least 2 out of 3, as you said, and go Braves. Chop on.
All right. Go Braves. Let's get it done.
All right. Thanks, Barrett.
All right. See you.
Barrett Sallee joining us. All of our guests join us on the Higginbotham Hotline. You deserve solutions that are built for you. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
It's going to be a great weekend to get on Smith Lake, and if you're looking for a pontoon boat this summer, Poorhouse Branch Marina at Smith Lake is the only dealer on the lake to have Avalon pontoons. Avalon pontoons are known for luxury, comfort, and performance, and pair it with the most fuel-efficient engine on the water from Honda Marine. Poorhouse Branch Marina at Smith Lake also has Tahoe pontoons ready for family fun. Get it today with in-house financing. See all at PoorhouseBranchMarina.com. Website again is PoorhouseBranchMarina.com.
First time today, we will open up the phones. We'll also open up the text line, 205-834-9450, the Memorial Day weekend edition. Yes, we are live today. 3-Man Front and Jocks 94.5. 11:20, great visit with Barrett Sallee, Braves Radio Network pre- and post-game host.
Did you notice? Apparently, the Texas media had a problem with this song being played constantly yesterday at the Hoover Met.
That's part of why I played it, because I was like, man, we heard that song a lot yesterday.
Well, do we know why? Because when I heard it for the first 3 times or whatever, I was like going, man, that's kind of crazy how the
What's the name of the song?
It's from the Outfield.
It's Your Love by the Outfield. Well, I thought it was somebody's walk-up song.
I did too, but then I heard it like multiple times, and then I saw multiple members of the Texas media tweet out, why does the PA announcer, why do they keep playing the Outfield here at the Hoover Met?
I don't know. It's a great song.
It is a good song.
Is it an anti-Texas song, maybe?
I just didn't understand. I thought you might have
Can we
cracked the code.
Is there anything in the lyrics that we might have missed?
But they were playing it from multiple hitters. Unless they're just, I don't know.
Maybe that was their, I don't know, maybe if somebody doesn't have a walk-up song submitted, that's their
That's their go-to?
Yeah, that's their filler. I don't know.
It's very interesting.
I did not know that was causing a problem last night.
Well, when we were sitting there yesterday, I heard it the first time. I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's somebody's walk-up music. I heard it again. I'm like looking up at the scoreboard going, no, they didn't already get around to the guys batting again.
I don't know. Maybe it's just their filler song. Because I know everyone likes it except Texas fans.
There's nothing in here that would, just from the lyrics, you say, oh, I see what they're saying. No, maybe it's the verse, I ain't got many friends left to talk to. Or stay the night, but keep it undercover.
Well, one thing's for sure. I guarantee you that the PA announcer at the Hoover Met is not going to be like the organist at the Atlanta Braves.
You don't think so?
I don't. The Atlanta Braves organist is one of the most creative people in all of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, he is.
Isn't he, Landrum?
Yeah, I got a cameo. My buddy had the cameo that he sent to me, and he even took a jab, and I appreciated it.
I mean,
he's very creative.
I mean, the St. Louis media, they love it. Like when they go and play the Braves in Atlanta, just the things that they come up with
he's
for the
quick,
Cardinal hitters.
and he can
really
play
good.
anything. Yeah. We'll get to your phone calls, 800-239-WJOX. First, let's go to our buddy Chris. Chris, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, Jock's crew? How's it going, y'all?
We're doing all right.
Happy
Chris.
Memorial Day weekend, Chris. You going to the Stallions game tomorrow?
I'll try to see if I can. If I don't have any business pop up. And let me just say, it's 4 things in the world that just grind my gears, in modern day times. One of them being politics that just, honest to God, people just push agendas and stuff. And then with the Angel Reese and the Caitlin Clark thing, and the RG3 and what's her name, Beef, right? Here's my thing. I'm like, sure, and Conrad brought it up earlier when he was passing me through. He said, don't bring up kids and wives in greed. And you also just don't attack people. And I think RG3, you just don't also attack people without injuries, without actual viable actual points. Otherwise, you're just doing stuff for clicks. And which leads me to the third things that really irk my soul. Well, third and fourth, that is. You got 9 days, you got social media, and you also got the UFL Stallions podcast. That started the UFL podcast with the Stallions, right? And I'm sitting there like, this guy. You guys brought it up last time. He's what they call a thing on a DC Defenders fan.
Yes.
Apparently, he brings on the Stallions. Too many times people have a mic and not a mic and not what is it called, a mic and not headphones to listen to the fan base. We love the Stallions out here, don't we? Yeah. So why we need to take it away?
Right.
All right.
Don't know. I don't know. But I didn't care for his comments either. I didn't care for his comments either, Chris. Chris, have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully you can get to the Stallions game and enjoy your Memorial Day on Monday.
I had a couple people that follow the UFL and the XFL before the XFL merged with the USFL, and they tell me that this guy was always very, very negative on the other XFL franchises. So I guess he is honed in on the Birmingham Stallions for some reason.
Let's go back to the phones. Bud Love.
Hey, now.
Hey.
You hear me?
We got you.
Okay, I'm on cell phone, so if it drops, it's Molly's fault. I just want to say that I got a question, Pat.
Yes, sir.
With TV ratings. If I'm watching the race and I'm flipping it back and forth between the race and the Stallions game, how does that work for the ratings? You know what I mean?
Yeah, so basically, if you're a Nielsen television household, what they do is they put an electronic meter box, kind of like the old days of when you had like a cable box on your television. So basically what it does, it reads which channel that you're watching. And so if you're sitting there watching the race, it's going to register you watching the race for X number of minutes or hours. And then if you flip over to the Stallions game during a commercial or whatever the case may be, it will register for a certain amount of time. So that's how the Nielsen television ratings work.
So they both get the ratings good. That's good.
That is correct, yes.
The games, the play-in games between the SEC and the Big Ten, like intercollegiate.
Yep.
That, I think, is a dang good idea. That would be really cool to see.
Yeah, I think it would be too, but keep in mind that is one of many ideas that they are kicking around right now. But I just like the fact that we have got one thing out of the way, which was the straight seating. Now we can concentrate on finessing and making other things right in regards to the scheduling and perhaps the SEC getting that 9th conference game.
Absolutely. Well, guys, I always love the show.
Thanks,
it's
buddy.
Always good stuff to watch. I'm running down the road, so Conrad, I want to ask Conrad something real quick.
What's up, buddy?
You weren't really singing Rockets Top, were you? That was just a little tongue-in-cheek, right?
No, he was singing, was he not, Landon?
Yeah, he was.
I did not sing, but I was rooting for Tennessee yesterday. Yes, that is true.
Take your damn glasses from you.
Yep.
But why did you keep saying squeal like a pig? Why did you keep saying that?
That must have been the people in the row behind us.
Oh, okay.
No, he went and watched that Deliverance movie.
That's
Yep.
Yeah, the one that Paige loves so much.
Yeah.
Paige likes that one. Yeah, I remember that comment. That was pretty good. And all right, well, I'll let y'all and Conrad, when y'all go to the break, ask Landrum what I can't say on the radio, if you remember.
Oh, we already had fun with that, buddy. We appreciate you putting a smile on our face today.
Yeah, that was good. We
Buddy, in the famous words of a lot of other men, it wasn't me.
Oh, man, I heard that one. Y'all take it easy. Well,
All right, brother. Thank you.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you calling in. We'll continue with your phone calls.
We appreciate you taking my advice too, buddy.
Yeah, yes, we do. 800-239-WJOX. Also, a lot of your good texts. You can interact with us here on this Friday. 3-man front and Jocks. 94.5, Pat.
Yeah, you see the warning signs, and if you're a homeowner this time of the year with the fluctuation of the temperatures, you can have some cracks in your sidewalk. How about the cracks of the foundation of your home? That's why you need to call APS today. Free estimate by simply calling 205-951-9717. They're going to send somebody out to your house. They're going to take a look at your problems. They're also going to check to make sure that your home's been properly waterproofed. And the APS waterproofers, they can assess your issues and give you a plan moving forward to fix any type of dampness you have around your home. Foundation problems don't get better with time. They get better when you call APS at 205-951-9717 or just go to their website, alabamaprofessional.com.
We continue. 3-man front and Jocks. 94.5.
11:33, Jocks 94.5. If you missed any of our interviews already this morning, we talked to Barrett Sallee from the Braves Radio Network, getting ready for the Padres and the Braves this weekend. Also, Wimp Sanderson, whole 30 minutes with Coach Wimp Sanderson, brought to you by Craneworks. At the top of the hour, we're going to go out to Hoover, Alabama, and talk to Tom Hart of the SEC Network. He'll be on the call as the SEC baseball tournament rolls along.
Don't miss the Russell Marine Smith Lake Open House. It's open today all the way through tomorrow, the 24th. Check out the larger, new and improved showroom, expanded lineup of boat brands. You can view boats from Sea Ray, Key West, Sportsman Nautique, Godfried Pontoon Boats, Creval, and more. Special pricing on all inventory and 20% off in the Pro Shop. You can register to win great prizes at Russell Marine Smith Lake. Get all the details at russellmarine.net on the events page, and you can certainly follow on Facebook.
All right, so it appears that the University of Maryland ran out of options of people that were going to speak at their graduation ceremony. So they decided to go with the following.
You're all here to listen to a frog in a very tiny cap and gown give a commencement speech on, well, what's actually turned out to be a pretty beautiful evening. Here's a little advice, if you're willing to listen to a frog. Rather than jumping over someone to get what you want, consider reaching out your hand and taking the leap side by side, because life is better when we leap together. It's important to stay connected to your loved ones, stay connected to your friends, and most of all, stay connected to your dreams. No matter how big, no matter how impossible they seem. The truth is, dreams are how we figure out where we want to go, and life is how we get there.
I would say Patrick Mahomes is a pretty good pull for a commencement speech.
That's
Outstanding.
solid.
Since he was a Texas Tech graduate, I don't know why
People in
he's
Lubbock are upset about that.
speaking at Maryland in College Park.
Wow.
Why? Why? Do you know how pissed off I would be
Yes.
if I showed up to watch my kid and all the money that I spent for them to go to the University of Maryland, and we're capping it off by watching a puppet that's up there giving the commencement speech? Are you kidding me? Was Scott Van Pelt not available?
Is it not worse too?
Under Armour guy, not available.
Kevin Plank wasn't available?
Well, you just consider the proximity to the president of the United States who came to Alabama to do a commencement speech, and then in Maryland you have Kermit the Frog doing your commencement speech.
Well,
I know I told you guys this before, but at UAB's, major kudos to them. Like the President Ray Watts, he got up there and he literally spoke for like no more than 2 minutes, 2 tops. I mean, this thing was like rolling.
So Jim Henson went to the University of Maryland, but Jim Henson is no longer with us.
That is correct.
So is that the guy that replaced the voice of Kermit from Jim Henson, or was that done through AI?
If I'm not mistaken, and I don't know if this was the individual, but I think Jim Henson's son took over the role of the company. You know, Henson they were sold to Disney. They now own Kermit and Miss Piggy and all that stuff. So I'm not sure if his son continues to be the voice of Kermit, but he pretty much was running the company after his father passed away.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, no. That's somebody else.
It's a Big Ten institution.
I'm laughing. I thought it was funny.
Of course. And that's probably the demographic they were going for.
There you go.
To be honest.
I didn't hear the crowd. They weren't very excited about it.
Nope. You invited all the family. You're bragging about your kid and the degree that they just got and how they finished whatever. And then a Muppet comes on stage to give the commencement.
And now, from Homewood, Alabama, Landrum Roberts, a doctorate.
I'm just upset. I'm upset that Piggy wasn't out there too.
How Kermit?
That would have caused like all sorts of problems, probably.
Yeah. Very interesting.
See, in that type of situation, you do a quick video, put it on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
But to go through everything that they just went through, to hide the puppeteer under, I mean, it's just the whole thing. Really?
I've got to go back and watch it now.
So you're part of the problem, you and Molly. Molly's laughing about it, and you're going to go back and give them.
I thought it was cute.
I am. I want to see how they pulled it off as far as presenting it to the arena. Were they outside? Were they inside?
Being a parent of, I've had to sit through 3 of these.
Yes.
I'm not talking about high school. I'm talking about college.
Right.
And if I was there, I would have been so irate. I probably would have been kicked out of the place because I'd been yelling about the stupid puppet on the stage. Like, are you kidding me?
What if the puppet calls you out?
Then we've got a really problem because I'm going to attack the puppeteer.
It's Pat strangling Kermit the Frog. Guy's arms extended.
The last thing you want to do is you want to sit there, but just, I mean, it's a mockery.
Who gave your commencement speech back when you graduated at Maryland? It was Kermit the Frog. No, seriously. It was Kermit the Frog.
Yeah, you're going for a big job interview on Wall Street. You graduated in economics at Maryland, and you're sitting there going, yeah, tell us about your college experience. Oh, it was fantastic. I was in the fraternity. I said, I was on the rowing team. Oh, who gave your commencement speech? Was it? It
was actually Kermit the Frog.
It was Kermit the Frog. Oh. At Maryland?
At Maryland.
Are you sure it wasn't like Maryland Eastern Shore?
And then everybody talks about you when you get up to use the restroom.
Yes. Can you believe that? Is that really an accredited school?
You're right, though. It's a Big Ten school.
It's a Big Ten school. It's got a puppet that's doing the commencement speech.
My favorite it wasn't a commencement, but the graduation that we had from Thomas Jefferson, whatever.
Oh, yeah, when they mispronounced the names. That was better than having Kermit the Frog.
No, that was great entertainment. Well, a guy who probably grew up on the Muppets like we did. Don. Hey, Don.
Hello, guys. Happy Friday to you.
Happy Friday.
Hey, how many times were you at the Hoover Met this week?
Buddy, I haven't been out there yet.
Oh.
That's why Auburn lost, because you didn't go watch them.
Somebody orders something from Don so he can deliver it to the Hoover Met.
Well, surprisingly, we thought we were going to get some teams to order from us, Landrum, and didn't get a single order.
Oh, that's not good.
Everything, but hey, I don't know if you ever listened, Pat, after you got done with Damien. I don't know if you heard him substituting for Cole and Greg and everything, but I got a question for all y'all. You know he's trying to choose a team and stick with one team for SEC football next year, right?
Oh. No, did not know that.
Everything.
He had on a Georgia shirt today.
But he's promised everybody, and Conrad's involved in this, that he's going to pick a team and cheer for them the whole entire year, and he is not allowed to wear another team's shirt for the whole entire year. And me and Conrad have been kidding him about it. He can't. He says he's just going to cheer for this team for 1 year. So Conrad and all the Alabama fans don't want him to do that, right, Conrad?
No, it's a lifetime commitment. Well, unless you're like you, Don, and you decide to switch teams. But other than that,
you know, I mean, well, I've been Auburn fan for like 40-something years now, Conrad.
I'm giving you a hard time.
You grew up an Alabama fan, though, right?
I grew up an Alabama fan, Landrum, and in 73 and 74, when they got beat, I cried myself to sleep on that New Year's Eve night before you guys were born. When they got beat by Notre Dame in the Sugar Bowl on New Year's Eve night, when they used to play at Tulane Stadium, I cried myself to sleep, brother.
So what turned the tide?
Yeah, what turned it for you?
Y'all all know that story. I'm not going to talk about that anymore on the radio. Yeah, but I think everybody in Birmingham knows that story by now.
What are you and Kaylee got going on this weekend?
Yeah.
I had a long chat with her today.
Did she respond?
Was it a one-sided conversation?
Let's hear more about this chat.
It's not on the phone, guys. I've showed you that. I know this is a joke and we're having fun with it, but supposedly we chat about 3-4 times a day on that Zangy app. Okay.
I'm not aware of this app. What is the app?
Do you see her face when you chat with her, or is it just a picture of her?
It's just a picture of her. I've never talked to her on the phone or seen her on FaceTime or anything. Look, we've been joking about this for the last few months.
Probably legit, Don.
No, Landrum. But hey, if my dream came true, Landrum, and I walked up the steps with her, I think you would pass out.
No, wait a
I
second.
would pass out.
No,
yes.
I'm not. I'm talking about
He's talking about inflatable.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking.
No. The inflatable got punctured at Talladega. It's gone.
What?
Now wait a second. I thought you were going to send her down the river at Talladega.
I did, but my friend was trying to put it up on a tree, and the branch punctured it. So So I did bring it home, but I had to get rid of it.
Oh man,
we gotta find you another Kaylee.
Maybe Kaylee's got a sister.
No. Yeah, well, actually, she does. Hey, she does have a sister.
Really? Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
I have seen her. She's an actress. Yeah, she was in The Flight Attendant in season 1.
Oh, yes, she was in The Flight Attendant, and now
pretty good.
It was really
now
good.
She's a redhead.
She's a redhead?
She's a redhead.
Oh wow.
Oh
Yep.
wow.
Everything. But hey, y'all will be if this happens this summer, you guys will be the first couple of people in Birmingham to meet her on that Tuesday at Social Chaco. But anyway, hey Pat,
yes sir.
I wanted to thank Molly's Detroit Tigers for beating your Cardinals.
I'm sorry, Don, your phone's breaking up. I really can't understand what you're saying right now. Maybe you can get in a better cell and call us back.
You're in a wind tunnel, Don. Can't hear you.
Yeah. How convenient.
Is he still talking? I
but
can't
no,
hear him.
guys.
Sounds foreign.
Okay. I'll change the subject. Okay.
Okay, you're back now. I got you now.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, are you guys coming to the game tomorrow?
That is the intention.
I have a graduation thing from my nephew we have to go to. We want to go to.
Conrad's supposed to come pick me up tomorrow, but Conrad's been late the last couple of days, so we'll see if he comes back.
Conrad just told me him and Paige are going to the lake.
Now, see, this is news to me because that was my ride.
Yep.
And Molly's not going to be in town either.
Well, Pat, you're just going to have to come join me and Boomer and the gang and just come tailgate with us.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to reach out
Boomer
to
will pick you up.
I won't know Hastings. Hastings is kind of my go-to ride when I need to ride downtown.
Hastings. Well, actually, when we went to the Ridge the other day on Tuesday, he said something about wanting to go. So that's a good idea.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Hastings. Maybe you'll see us.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna, but just let everybody know our tailgate is in the graveled lot.
On the
Anybody's
corner.
welcome to come. On the corner, and we're going to start at about 10:30 or 11.
That sounds good.
Sounds good.
Look forward to it, Don.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate you. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. 3-Man Front continues. Jocks on 845.
It is 11:49, Jocks 94.5 coming up in about 10 minutes. We'll go to Hoover. We'll talk to Tom Hart. He'll be on the call for the SEC baseball tournament as that continues this afternoon as the Ole Miss Rebels take on the Arkansas Razorbacks. That'll be a good one today at 3 o'clock.
Check out Mandu in downtown Homewood. Mandu is electrical muscle stimulation fitness. And right now they got all kinds of tailor-made programs just in time for summer where we're all going to be wearing less clothes. You want to look your best. Well, Mandu, whether it's maybe tightening up the glutes, maybe you want bigger arms, chest, lose some weight, or just feel better about yourself, you can do it with Mandu electrical muscle stimulation fitness. They're going to take you into Mandu. They're going to put you in a suit, and they're going to put you through the 15-minute workout. And because of that technology that you're hooked up to cables that send electric pulses to all the muscle groups in your body, the 15-minute workout is the equivalent to 6 to 8 hours in a gym. You can't beat it. I've gotten results. So many others have gotten results. I guarantee you'll get results. Hopefully it's for you. Your first visit is free. They'll put you through the workout, and you can see if Mandu is right for you. Mandu is conveniently located right there in downtown Homewood. Check out the website. Learn all about Mandu at MANDUU.com. And when you get into Mandu, make sure you tell Paul and the entire gang that Landrum from Jocks 94.5 sent you.
So one thing is for sure, you get the melting of the politics and sports a lot more nowadays. And you have Nick Saban, obviously, potentially being involved in the presidential commission that Donald Trump wants him to be a part of. Bruce Pearl has been extremely outspoken in regards to his feelings about Israel and things that have been going on in the Middle East. Well, he was on Outkick, the website, yesterday, and he was doing a podcast. And this is what he had to say when he was asked, this is the Auburn head basketball coach, about Donald Trump and his Middle East policy and what's been going on so far.
He's done an unbelievable job. There has been no president in the history of our country that has done a better job handling the situation in the Middle East. He's been the greatest president, for the Jewish people, and he continues to do the right things. Now, the question is going to be right now, where do we go? Where do we go now? Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Iran cannot enrich, because enrichment is the only reason why you need to enrich is to produce a weapon. Okay, I don't trust Iran. Nobody in the world should. They want a weapon. They've shown over and over and over again they're trying to get a weapon. If on 9/11 the terrorists had some kind of a nuclear weapon, would they have used it in 9/11? And the answer is yes. If they were willing to fly planes into our cities, if they had a nuclear weapon, they would use it. We got to learn from 1982 when they went in and bombed us in Lebanon and killed all of our Marines. We got to learn from 9/11, and we cannot allow them to have a nuclear weapon. We've been too asleep at the wheel. Can't let them have it. Trump says, look, you're either going to dismantle it, okay, or I'm going to let Israel, or even better yet, we're going to dismantle it for you.
Bruce Pearl, he's never hidden his beliefs in regards to Israel and the things that have been going on in the Middle East, but says that Donald Trump has been the greatest president in the history of our nation in regards to Israel.
Yeah. And good for Coach Pearl for standing up, not only for his faith, but for just and recognizing everything that's going on. And I know he's been asked about other things domestically. And he's been very outspoken about that, but I appreciate someone who gives their opinion and speaks their heart. And Bruce Pearl certainly speaks his heart, and he stands up for Jewish people everywhere. So kudos to you, Bruce Pearl.
Very much so.
Anytime somebody with a platform uses it for what they believe in, whether it's, whether you agree with it or not, I think that's something that's quite commendable, because I think we know, his social media mentions.
He's not the only Jewish coach in this country, by the way.
No,
he's the only one. Well,
he is the most outspoken of
most
them.
outspoken.
Yes, and again, anybody that stands up for what they believe in and understands that there's consequences with that, and they still are willing to speak out, whether you agree with it or not, I think that's pretty commendable.
Also, there's a developing story out of the state of Oklahoma, and this is going to be the tip of the iceberg that you are going to see once this House settlement comes to fruition, as all these athletic departments are trying to line themselves up and get in line from a budgetary standpoint. It is being reported that Oklahoma is laying off 5% of its athletic department. Now, 5%, they have over 300 employees in the athletic department. So that's going to equate to about 15 jobs, people losing their jobs. And the athletics director has announced that he is going to take a voluntary pay cut.
Okay, well.
I was just talking to Molly during one of the commercial breaks. There was a story yesterday that Iowa's considering dropping its baseball program.
Really? Wow.
Get ready, folks. You're going to see a lot more of this, but Oklahoma laying off 5% of its workforce. Tom Hart from the SEC Network will join us next here on Three Man Front. It is 12 noon on this beautiful Friday. And what a way to spend your weekend. Memorial Day is on Monday, but let's get it started early. Let's go to Hoover, Alabama. Friend of the program. Hadn't spoke to Tom in a while. Tom Hart from the SEC Network, ESPN, joins us now. Hey, Tom.
I feel like I just saw you at a UAB game.
Well, you saw Landrum. I wasn't there, but you got to see Landrum.
Hey, Tom.
I thought you guys ran in a pack. Like you don't socialize together 24/7 and have sleepovers.
Hey,
what's the deal?
All right, here's the deal, Tom.
We used to have sleepovers.
Hey, Tom, do you remember back when you used to do Korean baseball during COVID? Do you remember that?
Yes.
You remember that? How you
highlight of my life.
Yes, you would sit in the luxury of your home, that beautiful estate outside of Atlanta, Georgia, and you would do these Korean baseball games. That's the deal that I have with UAB basketball. Like, I don't have to be on site. I run it through my house, whereas Landrum actually has to go down to Bartow Arena. Meanwhile, I'm at my house doing the pre-halftime and the post-game show. It's the Tom Hart portion of my contract.
I truly appreciate that. Did you also memorize the weather patterns of the Sea of Japan, or was that just me?
That was just you. I did not go that far. I missed
prep
those.
knows no bounds, fellas.
What was your favorite team from the Korean baseball league?
Oh, the Doosan Bears, without a doubt.
Okay.
That's the only team name I remember. But yeah, that's what I'll go with today.
Well, how's Hoover treating you? All good, I hope.
Hoover's great. You know, it's a much different feel this year. Nobody really knew what to expect with the new format. And so I think we're still kind of feeling it out. Let me ask you guys this. Do you feel that there's an adjustment, a different level of talk, excitement, engagement around this tournament because there are fewer games? That's a discussion that we've been having in our group.
Yes. Now, I feel like the importance of every game, it seems like now the tournament, without playing off of it just means more, but it does just mean more now with the single elimination format and the addition of the likes of Texas mainly, but also Oklahoma. That's my feeling.
Yeah, it's a light and load, obviously, and that's great for the coaches. Not all coaches like it, but let's be realistic. The goal for SEC baseball is to send as many teams as you can to Omaha, 4 last year, and to win a national championship. And they've done that 5 years in a row. So this tournament has been an incredible showcase for years, and I've been lucky to come here for, I don't know, over 20 years or right at 20 years now. And it's a great marketing tool to get fan bases engaged in the excellence of SEC baseball. I think it's an incredible marketing tool that not only sells tickets and helps the economy of Hoover, but also gets fans interested and excited about their program to buy season tickets for the next year. I mean, it's a great communal event to come here and to, walk through the RV park and to see the LSU fans who set up their tents and started pounding beers, probably 2 days before their team even came to town. Like, that is just next level, and I love every second of it. But it really is a great baseball celebration. And so it is lessened a little bit this year because of fewer games and a little bit less engagement. But the bottom line is the main goal is to make it to Omaha. And the easiest way to do that, and it's never easy, but you want to go in a regional at full strength. I'll give you an example. 2 years ago, Vanderbilt won this thing in 23. I think they played 5 games. I know LSU and Tennessee both played 5 games last year. Didn't impact Tennessee. They won the whole thing. We know how that ended. But in 23, Vandy came here, absolutely ran through their pitching, got to their home regional after winning the SEC tournament, and got beat by Xavier and Oregon, and the season was over. So that balance, I think, is something that everyone's still trying to figure out. Like, how do you win this tournament if you want to? How do you use your guys and still be prepared? And for the top 4 seeds to be on a normal 3-game weekend work schedule, even though there's a day off for 2 of them, that makes the most common sense.
Yeah, and under the I love college baseball just like you guys do. But it felt like at times under the old format, it was a meaningless game, and all you were doing was eventually hurting that team that was going to move on to a regional that would not have some of these arms. Like, kind of what are we doing? The importance, the value that's placed on every game seems to be bigger. We've been going to Hoover just as long as you have, Tom, and you're broadcasting there. But Pat and I were just talking about, we're looking at the upgrades, the different things that they've done around that ballpark, inside of that ballpark. That ballpark is the perfect venue for this event. Do you agree?
100%. And there have been years where it's been kicked around like, oh, maybe we should check out Memphis or Gwinnett or, move it downtown. No, this is the perfect place. And here's what I say, and this applies to all aspects of life, whether it's relationships or work relationships, or go where you're wanted. Because if you're wanted, people will invest in you. And the city of Hoover has found value in this event, and they've continued to invest in it. And if you tried to pick it up and move it somewhere else, it wouldn't work. And if you tried to do that from a fan perspective, it certainly would fall apart. I mean, we kind of joked about the LSU fans earlier. I mean, the RV lot will sell out 52 weeks in advance, right? I mean, there is a sense of community and regularity that people know what exit they're getting off of. They know where they're going to have lunch. They know where they're going to fill up their cooler with ice. And they know everything because they've been coming here for years. And I would think that, I don't have the numbers, but I think that the marketing folks probably have a really good idea of people who show up once, what is the return rate on that next season. And the stadium is fantastic. The left field line's cool. The right field home run porch, whatever we're calling that, is really cool. But what makes it are the fans. And from the kids to the crazies, like, that's what makes this event. And they all come out, not just because it's a baseball tournament and it's their team playing in it, but one of the reasons and one of the values is they're seeing a guy like Kyson Witherspoon, who's going to be a first-round pick, and he's going to be in the big leagues in 3 years, and they're going to nudge their buddy, or they're going to say to their friend, hey, saw that dude pitch in Hoover. He hit 98. He was awesome. And I think that's what really sells this event.
Tom Hart joins us from ESPN, the SEC Network. He'll be on the call as the SEC baseball tournament continues in Hoover. So this morning, D1 Baseball, they come out with their morning report, and there are 7 SEC teams right now, if it ended right now, that would be hosting regionals. Alabama is not one of those teams as of this morning, according to D1 Baseball. Make the case for or against Alabama, Tom, in regards to them hosting.
Well, I don't have their resume in front of me. They had a great season. They hosted a couple of years ago. They deserve that opportunity. But I think I'll address it like this. One of the mistakes that we make, and I say we do this in television. It happens with writers. It happens all the time, is we look at these SEC teams that are candidates to host, and we say, okay, let's compare these 4 teams to each other, right? How does Alabama stack up against Tennessee, stacks up against Ole Miss? That's not reality. The reality is you need to discuss them in the scope of, well, what about Southern Miss? What about TCU? Is Dallas Baptist in the conversation? And I think all of those things are important. I wish, and this, I may be regretting this, but we have the football selection committee after Halloween come out, and we get a show every Tuesday night. We have the basketball selection committee 4 weeks out from Selection Sunday, give us their top 16. And I don't think that those specific teams matter, but what it does is it sends a message to what the committee values in that particular year. Because like the old Chinese proverb, nobody steps in the same river twice, right? Every selection committee is different. The criteria moves randomly, it seems. And that's fine. That's what happens with committees. We don't have that in baseball. We get projections based on how teams are going to finish seasons, but we don't get snapshots, number one, of what if it ended today. Because that D1 stuff, now we're closer to the end, so it's a projection, and they're trying to figure out who's going to win which tournament, who's going to play well today and tomorrow and Sunday. I think it would be beneficial to the sport, especially from a promotional standpoint, but to get the committee together, give us the top 16. All right, let's just do that, kind of like basketball does. And then show us what you're valuing. So as we get closer to the selection show on Monday, we know what the most important criteria are to that committee that year. Last year it was RPI. I think they leaned a little too heavily on RPI. That's good news for the SEC because when the RPI is your record, your opponent's record, your opponent's record. If you're playing in the SEC, your opponent's record's going to be good, and your opponent's record is going to be good. So I think it can be an echo chamber of sorts, but I would love to see a snapshot, a month out to say this is what we truly value this season because it changes so much.
Is there a rule? We have pitch clock. We know we have the green base. I guess I've kind of gotten used to that. Is there another rule, Tom, that you would like to see implemented that maybe we see at the Major League Baseball level and bring it down to the college ranks, or at least for tournament format play in these conference tournaments?
I hate you for asking this question. I really do.
Well, I heard what you said to Conrad before you came on. That's why I asked.
Let's just all count our blessings that we're still getting paychecks, okay?
Yes.
I hate the ghost runner in Major League Baseball.
It's awful.
And I don't want it in college baseball in extra innings. But specific to your question, for tournament play, that there might be some value there. And I hate that I even said that out loud.
I hope I didn't
I don't think it's as No, I know. I don't think it's as necessary in the college game because college bullpens and college, fielding percentages and defensive efficiency, they're so far away from where they are at the big league level. Like it's hard to score in the big leagues if you don't have the right part of your lineup up. So and they really want to move games along, and I get that, and I hate it at that level. But for tournament play, that might make sense.
All right, Tom, we can't let you go without talking some college football. And yesterday was a big day because the CFP Management Committee, they voted in regards to straight seeding for 2025. We're still waiting on the SEC to adopt a 9-game conference schedule. What are you hearing? I mean, you hang out with a lot of big wigs. Are we going to get the 9-game SEC schedule? Is that going to be official? What do you anticipate over the course of the next couple months?
I think a 9-game schedule is coming. I think there's value in that had to be realized by both sides. And, listen, everything comes down to money. And I know that the league has been working on that schedule for years. And I think it's okay that we haven't gotten there yet. I like the idea that Tennessee and Oklahoma come into the conference and we have this set schedule for 2 years, and then let's introduce them to everybody. Everybody gets a chance to play them, and then let's kind of figure out this, what I believe would be a pod system, or however you want to define it. And I think that's good. And I think the time that's been spent, because I know those guys and gals are working really hard on it, has allowed them to poke holes in it and to run it through and to redline it. And I'm confident that once we get there, as schools have been asked, who do you insist on playing? Who would you want in your pod? And that allows a little bit more definition with Texas and Oklahoma in the league. I like that we're not rushing into that. But, I think that's coming down the pike pretty clearly.
All right, Tom, this is a fair question. You will appreciate this because this is totally in your wheelhouse. What is your take on Bill Belichick and Jordan?
The whole thing is ridiculous. I mean, is there any? Okay, I was at Carmine's Deli in New York 1,000 years ago, and Jerry Jones was sitting there with a woman that was much younger than him. And I said to myself, that makes perfect sense, right? I mean, I don't care what you do in your personal life, but that makes perfect sense. Is there anybody outside of maybe Tom Landry where this relation, I think that's why it's such a headline grabber, because it's so out of left field. It makes zero sense that this public persona we've seen in front of us would then go head over heels for a Division II college cheerleader. Nothing adds up about it, and I think that's what makes it fascinating.
Oh, man.
Well answered.
Yeah, very much so. Well, listen, Tom, great to catch up with you. Hope everybody treats you with the wonderful accolades that they should when they see Tom Hart there in the Hoover Metropolitan area.
Smile more, Tom. Everybody loves that smile.
Yeah. $1 million
I
smile.
got charged for parking yesterday. I'm the only one
What?
that went to the tournament that got charged for parking.
What? Where did you park?
I don't know.
Reserved?
Some guy just said, yeah, man, give me $5. And I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah, so there's the respect.
Well,
he'd have been out of luck with me. I don't usually have any cash on me.
Oh, you know, Tom's got that big wad of cash.
Don't. You're lucky to have a job.
I
Why
know.
do you have cash?
I know. That's exactly right. Do you wear did they give you the option when you're broadcasting, can you wear shorts or do you have to wear pants?
This is not live golf, okay? We're professionals.
Okay.
We don't wear jeans. We don't wear shorts. We're not out there on a pit crew changing tires. We're on national television or, a version of which. And if you show up wearing jeans on television, I'm going to assume you're working a rodeo.
Hey, did I hear you last night?
This is where I do. This is where I give my. This is, by the way, where I give my plug for Peter Millar. Like, if they can send me more pants, I'll be in great shape, and I'm happy to do so.
You still on the Blue Delta train?
It never got off.
Okay.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, did I hear you, was it you last night mentioning that the Hoover Mets should add Bernie's slide to the outfield? Did I hear that right?
Wouldn't that be great? I mean, think about the elements that we've seen at ballparks that make them stand out. You've got Bernie's slide. You had the monstrosity in Miami, this center field sculpture, which I didn't mind. You got the pool in Arizona. There was a pool in Miami at one point as well with painted ladies, like literally nude women dancing around the pool.
That's art.
Spent a lot of time out there because it had a great view. Pals Hill in Houston, both old and new. Yep. I mean, like a lot of these ballparks look alike, right? Now we got the Ferris wheel out front of the Met, and they've added so much cool stuff. I think the next step is to take one of those elements from inside the Finley Center, pick it up, and move it to a place where you could put it right there, like down the right field line. I want to see Dari Noka going down that slide.
The slide would be great. What if we incorporated slide beyond the wall and elevated pool above the wall where slide goes into pool?
That would be nice.
And you pay a premium to go and hang out. Yeah.
That would be good. Yep.
Growing up in Missouri, we had a place in the Ozarks called Hillbilly Town. And it was kind of like one of these second-rate amusement parks. And Hillbilly Town had like a 5-story slide that you had to go down with your feet inside a burlap sack. Like you would pull the sack up to your waist and go down, or use a mat. And I'm telling you, you could set land speed records on that thing. I'm convinced they sprayed the slide down with Pam before you went. It was like a Pinewood Derby for adults. So anything we can steal from Hillbilly Town and put in a ballpark, I am all for.
I'm looking this up now. Hillbilly Town.
There's a great commercial. Hillbilly Town is a lot of fun for you. I still have the lyrics memorized. I assume it closed. I assume somebody lost a limb once or twice on that slide.
And they closed it down.
Risk management said, fellas, what are we doing?
The title of this video is Hilarious Redneck Water Slide Fails.
Mm-hmm. Sounds about right.
That was Tom.
Although I don't remember Hillbilly Town having a water slide. It was dry, but you had to, because of the friction, you couldn't just, plop down on the slide. You had to have a mat or a sack underneath you. And burlap sacks, like what says Hillbilly more than, and Ozarks more than a burlap sack?
See, I never could get over the Ozarks. I just would go to Lake Wapapello, north of Poplar Bluff. That's where we'd go.
Oh, the booming metropolis of Poplar Bluff.
Absolutely. Good rib place.
If you're not hanging out in the boot heel, what are you doing?
That's right. Sykeston, Missouri. Throw rolls.
Sykeston train, James Wilder Jr.
You better believe it.
I think he still owns the Buccaneers record, 43 carries in a single game.
Yep.
Hey.
He went to Sykeston Bulldog. He would graduate with my brother, my older brother. Yep. James Wilder. Mm-hmm. Played for the Tampa Bay Bucks.
And for the two people from Sykeston who are going to hear this later via the podcast, special hello to you.
Absolutely.
Go down to Kennett.
Yep.
Tom's
get some Lambert's Road rolls.
Tom has always been a great sport. And when he used to come on our show, we would give him just a random word that he would have to drop during the course of the broadcast. And we haven't done that in a while. Pat, throw Tom a random word to drop today in the broadcast.
Plethora.
Oh, that's too easy.
That's way too, Pat. It's too easy.
It's too easy for Tom. Yeah, you got to go like way off the grid.
I can get that. I can get that in the open on camera.
Well, Tom, based on our history, I'm trying to play safe.
Go.
Why?
No. Go. Can we use a name, or can we use someone's actual name?
I mean, it depends.
Yeah, probably don't need to go down that route.
Yeah. Knowing where you're going, we should probably avoid specific names.
Okay.
So plethora would be too easy.
I mean, like you could do Tom Cruise. You know, that'd be a name that's family safe and also relevant at the time.
Yeah, I was going to say you're promoting the movie, I guess.
But the most fun, you know, the game is fun when it's something like pineapple or pine cone or cactus or hot air balloon, you know, like just random enough that the people who are listening to us now feel connected to the broadcast tonight and, you know, watch until it happens so they can elbow their wife and say, I knew that was coming. But the people who are watching on TV don't get too distracted by it. They might raise their eyebrow, but hot air balloon, didn't hear that coming tonight.
Flatulence.
That's the secret to working those in.
Flatulence?
Yeah.
Is that doable?
Flatulence is perfect for Hoover after dark. We don't have any more after dark games. I could,
What about Lazy
I'm
River?
willing to give it a try.
Could you do Lazy River, Tom? We talk about those a lot on the show.
I can absolutely do Lazy River.
There we go.
And we can make that work in a fun way.
Okay. There it is.
And for a bonus, Hillbilly Town.
Hillbilly Town might get misconstrued, but I'm not going to promise you anything. But if somebody's offense can bubble up like flatulence in the Lazy River, then all of a sudden, we got a chance to win this game, fellas.
That's big time.
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
That would be
That's
awesome.
really good.
That is good.
Yeah, he's the best at it.
Absolutely. Hey, Tom, it's always great to have you in town. Always fun catching up. Hopefully, Landrum and I will see you soon.
Thanks, Tom.
You guys are the best. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Tom. That is Tom Hart from ESPN and the SEC Network. You can hear him on the call this weekend, SEC Baseball Tournament in Hoover. More three-man front on this Friday, Jocks 94.5. Oh, what a fun conversation with Tom Hart from SEC Network. You can hear Tom's work there at the SEC Baseball Tournament. Don't forget about Golston Tree Service, 205-337-4018. Now's the right time to talk about the health and safety of your trees. Give Golston Tree Service a call. Don't forget they got the 24-hour emergency storm work service, the number 205-337-4018. They can help you out in the biggest need, especially with these storms happening during the springtime. The number again at Golston is 205-337-4018.
Text line is open. We'll get your text now, 205-834-9450 on the Jocks text line. And this one rolls in. We do have college softball regionals. They got started yesterday, but you have SEC teams, including Alabama, in action today. Florida taking on Georgia in one of those super regionals. And this one rolls in. It says it's time to beat those Georgia Poodles in softball. I'm looking at the scores now.
Florida's having their way right now. It's 6-1 in
It's a final.
Top of the 7th. Oh, it just went final.
Yeah, 6-1. Florida's a winner. Later on, you're going to get Alabama taking on Oklahoma. They're in Norman at that super regional.
How about Hottie Toddy? They're on top of Arkansas right now, 7-4. And South Carolina up 2-0 on UCLA.
There you go, SoCar.
There we go.
Little 8-9 battle in that super regional. Softball coach, she's done a wonderful job. Paul Maneri's like, oh, they won again. Love you, Paul. Coach. This one rolls in. How do you not like homemade ice cream and Conrad can't hide that he is from Hayden?
I don't know what those two things have to do with each
I
other.
don't either.
I'm confused.
I was hoping you could decipher that.
I have personally never had homemade ice cream before.
You have
Really?
Really?
We'll have to do something this summer at my house and do some homemade ice cream.
What's the difference, I guess? Because, I would get, the big brand, just go get a tub of it from the grocery store.
Well, I mean, what you
churn
do,
it.
Yeah, I mean,
yourself.
you make it with pet milk.
Salt.
Yep. And then you churn it now. We had the old school back in the day. I would have to sit on top of it as my dad would actually turn.
So this is a relatively common thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I have literally never heard of anybody making their own ice cream.
Wow.
That
So
surprises
apparently
me.
I've been missing out on something.
Whenever my brother was home from college and we lived in
You would make
Michigan, we would make it together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'll have to try that. Okay.
We're going to do slip and slide at the house into the moat.
Mm-hmm.
I love your Gators. Corey texts in my top 5 group of 5 teams that could make the college football playoff this year. Tulane, UNLV, Army, Miami of Ohio, and Boise State.
Okay.
Thank you, Corey.
Good list.
Braves have to improve their launch angle, exit velocity, spin rate, crotch scratches, and swing paths. I don't know about the next to last one.
It's a lot of things to fix.
Landrum, can we get weekly updates on the state of your zoysia grass? Zoysia grass. That's really tough to say. Hope it was worth missing the end of the Tennessee-Texas game. Great seeing you all, and thanks for letting me hang out for a bit. Our friend, Keller.
Oh, it's good to see
Aw.
Keller.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Keller's good people. Grass is okay, though, right now. Put out some more seed. Did a little overseeding yesterday, Keller, and we got a little bit of fertilizer on it, so we'll see what happens.
Looks like we got some rain coming through this
I
weekend, too.
cannot
Will that help you
wait
out?
to get my water bill. It's going to be nasty.
We've had like 9 inches of rain.
I was about to
this
say,
month.
that's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah,
about to
but-
rain this weekend. That'll help you out.
Doing this all post-rain. I want it perfect.
Landrum's the type that has his sprinklers on when it's raining. Can't hide money, Conrad.
No, you can't.
You missed the conversation I told Pat yesterday. We were looking at the field and how great it looked, and I was like, yeah, my backyard's greener.
Bragging.
You just don't like the sprinklers when they're turned on you on the golf course.
No. I wish it would have happened the other day when we were going down 9.
You're going to catch that kid one day.
Yeah,
You'll find him.
that's right.
When we come back on 3-Man Front, it will be Molly's Movie Minute. And then we've now closed the poll voting for next week's movie for Molly. That's next, 3-Man Front. It's 12:34. Jock's 94.5 moments away from Molly's movie minute. It will be her second movie that she has reviewed during this summer season. I want to remind everybody about Abide Roofing. And right now, you can get a free roof inspection by simply calling 205-922-7134. Go to abideroof.com. My good friends over there at Abide Roofing, they can give you an honest assessment if you've got any issues on top of your roof, whether it's just loose shingles or if you've got a major leak happening into your attic, which then is going to get into your sheetrock and can cause some ceiling damage. Let them give you this free roof inspection. There's no strings attached. There's no pressure. They just want to give you an honest look at what's going on up on top of your roof. And trust me, folks, I'm speaking from experience. A few years back, Travis and the Abide Roofing team, they took great care of me, got me a brand new roof. And even when the insurance company was kind of dragging their feet and I was having some issues, Travis got on the roof with the insurance adjuster and they worked it all out. I trust these guys 100%. You should too. They're licensed, bonded, insured. They're the real deal. That's Abide Roofing. Call them today, 205-922-7134, or go to their website, abideroof.com. Last week, the voters said, we want Molly to watch Good Will Hunting. And so this is a segment that we call Molly's Movie Minute.
It's time for Molly's Movie Minute. Cinematic insights with expert critiques and analysis. And now, let's journey through the world of film with Molly Robinson.
Okay, Molly, Good Will Hunting.
You go to Harvard?
Never been to Harvard.
You haven't been to Harvard? You park your car by Harvard, the Boston Square?
Listen to you.
First of all, that was like the first thing that I wrote. Because, you know, the movie kind of starts and you find out they're from Boston. And I'm like, man, I love their accents. That was like the first thing for me. So I had to get that out of the way. But overall,
You'll love Cheers, by the way. If you watch that, they got Boston accents.
I've seen
too.
a couple episodes of Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually telling Pat a theory I had about that show. But anyway, I absolutely loved this movie. I bawled my eyes out multiple times. The breakup scene, lost it. So sad.
Really?
The ending, lost it. I got to go see about a girl, lost it. It's not your fault.
So 3 times you cried
Lost
in
it.
this movie?
Like the start of the breakup scene is when I started crying, and then I was okay. And then I don't know if it was the last meeting or not, but one of his last meetings he had with Robin Williams when he was like, "It's not your fault. It's not." Just kept repeating it. Lost it again.
What about when Robin Williams was talking about his wife and all that?
I teared up a little bit. Oh, and the part where, you know, he asked him, how'd you know she was the one? And it was October 21st, 1975, and it was the Red Sox Game 6 of the World Series. I was like, that's so sweet. And Will's like, oh, I can't believe you missed that for a girl. And then at the end, he's going to go see the girl in California. Oh, I love it. I mean, this was a 5 out of 5 for me. I really like this movie.
So that's the second week in a row that you've really been over the moon. Last week it was Goonies and it's Good Will Hunting this last week.
We're kicking off the 2025 edition of this with some really good movies.
Have you seen Dead Poet Society?
I have not.
Okay,
But
that'd
that
be
one-
another one that I'd say kind of maybe a little similar to this one.
That one's been recommended to me a lot,
Yeah,
too.
that'd be another good one.
As far as most impressive dialogue for me, it's when he's in that bar and the guy with the ponytail,
Yes.
your academic elitist, he tries to
At
show
least
him
try to
up,
be
and then he
original.
just bounces back with
Yes.
the and next you're going to tell me that all of that could be, you know, what you could have paid in overdue library fines, you know, whatever.
So good.
Yeah, it's so good.
Matt Damon's so good. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you know that the history that this was originally, it was in a class at Harvard where they were required to write a play. Instead, he turned in a 40-page movie script.
I did hear, yes. I did. After I watched the movie, of course, I went and read a little bit about it, some facts about the movie, and I did find out that. And I also found out, I didn't know this, but the saying, how do you like them apples, was popularized from this movie.
Right.
Because he goes up to the guy, he puts her number on the window.
Yep.
You like apples? Well, how do you like them apples?
I got a number.
I got a number.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
Oh, and the part where his friend is telling him, like, every day when I walk up to your door and you come out, I'm disappointed that you're still here. That got to me too.
Yep.
I mean, it's about life. It's about friendship, like knowing yourself, moving on. It's just, I loved this movie.
Another fun little fact: a lot of the Boston scenes they were shot, the outside Boston scenes, obviously in Boston, but a lot of the other scenes were shot in Canada.
Yeah, and I think in Toronto, yeah.
It's just remarkable that this was essentially their first movie, or the first time they got together and worked together and wrote a script, and you turned out to make, I think, what a lot of people consider one of the best movies ever made, and they made that as kids, and this was their start in the film, and it's remarkable.
Such a good movie.
Yeah.
Such a good movie.
All right, so 5 stars for this one. And so this morning, Conrad, we gave the audience 4 options in which she would watch the next movie and report back to us next Friday.
Yes, that is absolutely correct. And this is the closest voting that we've had maybe ever since we started doing this. So we had 4 options for you. One of them definitely lagged behind. That was Shaun of the Dead. That only got 17% of the vote. But you had almost a tie at the top between Jerry Maguire and the Bad News Bears. But ultimately, the Bad News Bears just beat Jerry Maguire. So 1% more of the vote there for Bad News Bears. Catch Me If You Can came in right after that. That's the one I voted for. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. But yeah, Molly, you'll be watching the Bad News Bears next week, and this is the original version, not the not so great Billy Bob Thornton remake.
This is Walter Matthau.
Yes,
Yeah,
this is the
good.
original.
That's good.
It's a great one.
That's the perfect role model. That's how you coach kids.
We need more of that in today's youth.
Need more of that. No, we don't.
Just
But
like
it's a
more
really good
cigarettes,
movie.
right?
That's right. That's right. You'll enjoy that.
I liked Bad News Bears Breaking Training.
Which one?
That's when they went to Houston to play the Toros.
Oh, in the Astrodome?
In the Astrodome.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yes.
Bad News Bears.
And then they went
Sorry,
to Japan.
Molly, you're getting our second favorite.
So this is the 1976 one.
With Walter Matthau.
Perfect. Okay.
And then the next one was the Bad News Bears and Breaking Training, which they played the Texas Toros in the Houston Astrodome.
I'm assuming this movie won't make me cry like Good Will Hunting.
No.
If this movie makes you cry, there's
What was the character's
Problems.
name that rode the motorcycle? Was it Carrie?
Kelly.
Kelly.
It's Kelly.
Who rode up on them, put the cigarette out.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And then they ended up going to Japan.
Yeah.
After that, the next one was the Bad News Bears go to Japan.
So is a lot of the same cast in the Breaking Training one?
Yeah, I mean it's like the younger ones obviously are still playing for this, for Chico's bail bonds.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I need to see that one because I've only seen the original and then the Billy Bob Thornton one. So
We're kind of tying.
if y'all said that one's the best.
Yeah. Tying everything together, but do you remember the Cheers episode, Pat, where they were asking Sam Malone when he and Rebecca, that was her name, right? That was played by Kirstie Alley, her character, when they had finally gotten together, and everybody was asking, well, how was it? And he made a reference to the Bad News Bears movie.
He did.
He said, there was so much anticipation and build up, but it was okay.
I'm excited for this one. I mean, I'm excited for every movie that gets recommended to me.
Yeah,
but
you won't cry for this one.
Good.
Unless you're crying laughing.
Well, let's hope.
Yeah, absolutely. That is Molly's Movie Minute. Next week, she will review the wonderful motion picture Bad News Bears, the original, with Walter Matthau. More three-man front on this Friday. This is Jocks 94.5. 1246, Jock's 94.5 on this Friday, 1-800-239-WJOX, 205-834-9450 on the courtesy GMC text line. You know, it's going to be a great weekend on Smith Lake. Looking for a pontoon boat this summer? Poorhouse Branch Marina at Smith Lake is the only dealer on the lake to have the Avalon pontoons. Avalon pontoons are known for luxury, comfort, and performance, and pair it with the most fuel-efficient engine on the water from Honda Marine. Poorhouse Branch Marina at Smith Lake also has Tahoe pontoons ready for family fun. Get it today with in-house financing. See it all at PoorhouseBranchMarina.com, right there on Smith Lake, PoorhouseBranchMarina.com.
I do have a quick update, little SEC flavor on the Super Regionals going on in college softball. South Carolina has added to their lead as they play in the bottom of the second. They lead UCLA 3-0. Ole Miss on top of Arkansas on the top of the fourth, 7-4. And earlier today, Florida knocked off Georgia 6-1. Alabama and Oklahoma a little bit later on, 4:00 p.m. You can view the game on ESPN2. That one coming from Norman as they try to upset the back-to-back reigning national champion, Patty Gasso-led Oklahoma Sooners. And you get Tennessee hosting Nebraska, 6:00 on ESPN2 there from Knoxville.
So this morning, Pablo Torre, in his latest episode, dropped some news about the ongoing Jordan and Mr. Bill Belichick. He delved into an Airbnb Hudson and Belichick once rented together back in 2023.
Oh, boy.
As part of his report, he ran an interview with the owners of the unit.
Oh, no.
Who didn't exactly have the kindest words to say about Jordan. Minutes after the video was posted of Pablo Torre's podcast, Hudson took to her Instagram page and took a blowtorch to the reporting. Quoting directly, Pablo Torre's findings have been nothing short of factually incorrect, slanderous, defamatory, and targeted, she wrote. Can y'all please stop giving credibility to this reporter? End of quote. She added a screen grab of a text message conversation that appeared to be with one of the owners of the Airbnb she and Bill had stayed at. The post, however, was deleted a short time after it went up. Torre has yet to address the Instagram comments, but Jordan went to other social media platform later on Friday to appear to make another comment on his reporting. Torre had stated in a recent podcast that he believes Ring video showing a shirtless Belichick at the property had gotten out via the owners, seemingly in response. Jordan on her Twitter page wrote, "Hey, at Airbnb, quick question. How do you feel about Airbnb owners publicly distributing security footage and information about tenants, their stay, ?
She needs to be very, very careful because this Pablo Torre, and she's trying to discredit him with everything that he's put out there. And there's no way that this guy is just pulling stuff out of thin air. He's actually doing what he's supposed to do and talking to sources. She needs to be very, very careful because if he keeps digging, there might be something that they really don't want the public to know.
Well, and to your point, I mean, this is the kind of thing where if it came out that he had made all of this up for attention, he's never going to work in the media again,
No.
right? Like he's putting his career on the line with these reports. And so, yeah, I'm not going to discredit them. If you don't like the information that's coming out, then that's one thing. But that would answer a lot of questions if we did find out that the Airbnb owner was who released the video, because that was our question, right? Was it Jordan that did that? Was it maybe her roommate? Because we thought that was maybe her apartment or house, whatever. So if it's an Airbnb, that would make a lot more sense. But yeah, that certainly would not be a good look if you had an Airbnb owner distributing private video from their residence. I don't think that would be great.
So now she's fighting back on social media.
And she's using all the legal terms, right? That was a passive-aggressive way of saying
slanderous, defamatory.
We could be suing you.
But that's wild to post that, delete it, and then the next time you post, you're going at Airbnb and essentially confirming what he's reported.
What he's reported.
Well, speaking for someone that has been involved in slanderous lawsuits, as myself,
that guy shouldn't have slandered you.
I can tell you that the number one defense is you've got to prove that it was inaccurate and it was incorrect. So if she's claiming that somebody's defaming her or slandering her, then she better be 1,000% correct that none of that took place.
Yep. Again, I just go back to timeline. And that was from 2020, what did he say, 2022?
2023 was when they had rented a Airbnb.
Okay. So that would have put her at what, 22 at the time? 21, 22, somewhere in there.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. They met originally, though, on the flight, and that dates back to
21, maybe?
Or they were on the flight together.
Yes.
They claimed that they met on
He
the flight.
signed her book.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we think.
Okay.
Story just keeps giving.
Yep. But I don't think Pablo at this point is going to stop.
No. Seems like Pablo's got a couple of sources that he feels really good about.
Yep. And I bet she's probably got an inkling of one of those sources. Who it is. Enemies closer.
And there was a story earlier this week, Molly, that you saw in regards to, it was Belichick's former girlfriend and Jordan apparently had words.
Oh, yeah. I think it was at a Christmas party where Linda,
His former girlfriend. 60-year-old Linda.
Yes. I guess they ran into each other at a Christmas party in Massachusetts, and I don't know the full story, but basically I think Linda may have said something about, I know people in the pageant community, from the article at least, that she asked that Jordan was removed from the premises of the party.
Cat fight.
Good job, Linda.
Yeah. I asked Ms. Hudson if she thought it was a good idea to be there, considering the clear animosity. She defended herself by saying she'd done nothing wrong, and it was her first time attending the Christmas stroll, that's what it was called, and wanted to attend the, quote, big party going on that night, which happened to be featuring the Hess twins.
This is great.
And the Hess twins are Linda Holiday's daughters.
Oh, okay.
T.
Wait, did I miss the old Miss Belichick has gotten wrapped up in this?
She
now?
had Jordan removed from a Christmas party.
The elegant lady that was his girlfriend.
And Jordan went with her friend who then held the title of Miss Massachusetts.
Oh.
And basically, she had told her, it said that Holiday told Miss Massachusetts that if she valued her current title, she should think twice about who her friends are. And that Holiday allegedly said that she had many powerful friends in the pageant organization.
Don't we all?
Conrad's huge in the pageant industry.
It's full of drama. That's what keeps me coming back, though.
I know.
That and that P-Town shirt you wear.
I can't get enough of it.
Do you still get Pageant Weekly?
Yes.
He subscribed to that $400 a year service where he watches all those pageants.
Hey, summertime, a lot of crowns are given.
I told
a
Don
lot of pageants.
I couldn't be at the Stallions game because I'm going to be at the lake. I'm really going to be watching the pageants. It is what it is.
Can't blame you.
When you love something.
That's exactly right. Hey, you wear that tiara with pride. We'll get to your phone calls. Dave, Joe, hang on. A lot of texts as well. It's a Friday edition, a live edition of 3-Man Front on Jocks 94.5. 1 o'clock here on a Friday. Landrum, Pat, Conrad, Molly. So glad that you're with us. Been a loaded up show. Wimp Sanderson, courtesy of Craneworks. Barrett Salee, Braves pre and post game host, and Tom Hart, who is ESPN, the SEC Network, and who is there in Hoover, broadcasting the SEC baseball tournament. SEC softball teams in action, super regional action. Ole Miss is added to their lead over Arkansas as they play in the bottom of the fourth inning. Rebels leading that one 9-4. South Carolina has tacked on a couple of runs in that super regional in Columbia over UCLA 5-0. Earlier today, it was Florida knocking off Georgia 6-1 as they played in Gainesville. Alabama takes on Oklahoma 4 o'clock today in Norman, and that's super regional. And Tennessee hosting Nebraska later on this evening. Prize Picks, that is a great way for you to have fun, not only watching sports, but winning. And everybody loves to win. You got the basketball playoffs going on right now. Action heats up with Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on all of your favorite sports. And you sign up today, use promo code WJOX. You're going to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even have to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's absolutely guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts, like Taco Tuesday every Tuesday. Prize Picks discount select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineup. So download the app today, enter promo code WJOX, and you're going to get $50 instantly after your first $5 play. Tonight, I'm going baseball. Ronald Acuna Jr. is actually listed there at Prize Picks, and this is one of the goblin bets. Easier to win. Payout is lower, but Ronald Acuna Jr. hits plus runs batted in 0.5. We're going to go
more.
I agree. We're going to go more there. Matt Olson has been tearing it up. Also, one of those goblin bets, 0.5 hits, runs
more.
It seems pretty easy, right? Yeah. We've won most of this week. We had one bad day, but it's always a great day with Prize Picks. We appreciate Prize Picks. Download the app today. Don't forget the promo code WJOX. Molly is watching a wiener race.
It's the Weenie 500.
Describe to people, because you've been excited about this. I've heard it in passing this week.
Oh, I've been excited about it since they announced it. So basically, you have 6 Wienermobiles racing each other on the Indy 500 track.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we were talking wiener dogs.
That's what I thought originally she was talking about.
Go!
Oh, wow, they are going. How fast do those things go?
Not very.
Not very.
It's only 2 laps. But you got the Chicago dog, the New York dog, the Seattle dog, the Chili dog, the Slaw dog.
Do you have the skinless Frank mobile?
I can't remember the name of the last one, but you got 6 dogs all racing each other, and I've been watching it. It just started.
Okay.
It's taking a little longer though, because they're kind of slow.
No, serious question. Have you ever bought a pack of the skinless, the hot dogs? I think they're made by Hebrew National, or
It's the ones where you have to peel it back?
No, Conrad. Goodness gracious alive. No. Let's get to the phones. 800-239-WJOX. I am so sorry, Dave. You had to walk into this. Hey, Dave.
Hey, guys. Talking about movies, a couple of movie quotes. So 12 years ago, I'm coaching my 12U Sons Little League team. We're up in Trussville in a tournament with teams all over the Southeast. They're all all-star teams, right?
Yeah.
We get blasted the first 3 games. We got 1 game left. It's 100 degrees right before the weekend. I find a little spot of shade behind the dugout about 2 feet wide. I line them all up. I said, guys, it can't get any worse, can it? And one of the kids says, yeah, it could get worse. He said, we could actually win the game, and that would screw up our losing record. I said, well, listen, we're not giving up. We'll never give up. We didn't give up when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor. And they all said, simultaneously, 2 movie quotes, they all said, the Germans didn't bomb Pearl Harbor, you bugger-eating moron. I'm like, I got 2 movie quotes out of that one. And all the parents behind me were just dying laughing because they knew they realized what they just said, right?
That's hilarious.
That's great. Did you drink beer while you were coaching them?
Yeah, they found me drunk on the bench, and they thought I was dead. Beer cans were on the floor. I don't want to screw it up for Molly, but
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys, enjoy your show.
Hey, thank you, Dave. We always appreciate your phone call. Let's go to Joe. He's in Vestavia. Hey, Joe.
Hey, guys, how you doing?
We're doing well. How are you?
Hey, I'm okay. It's a Friday. That makes things a little bit better.
Amen.
Hey, wanted to call earlier in the week. And I heard, I think it was Chris back in the 11 o'clock hour. He was upset by the guy with the podcast who took the shots at Birmingham.
Right.
I'm familiar. When I say I'm familiar with that guy, I've seen his stuff for about 3 or 4 years, and I would say reporter is a loose term I would use for him. He's no more a reporter than I am.
Well, I would consider you a reporter.
Yeah, you actually give really good information.
He's an XFL fanboy, and was that stuff back 2 years ago. It was worse than, say, an eighth grade Alabama Auburn fight on on social media between the two leagues fans, and for some reason there is like this cult following of the letters XFL, and the only thing I could figure is Vince McMahon in WWE.
Yeah.
I don't get the loyalty. There's grown adults on social media when the merger was being announced that were really upset that not every team, all 16 teams, weren't going in, and they literally wouldn't accept it.
So wait a second. So Joe, you're saying that they wanted that the full USFL and the XFL to merge to have 16 teams? Is that what they originally wanted?
There were people that wanted that, and they said if they don't do it, they don't want a league. Absolutely. It's the most bizarre stuff I've ever read.
That is bizarre because listen, I mean, I know we've spent a lot of time on this show talking about some of the frustrations about the attendance in the new UFL, but the XFL, they literally drew less than what Memphis draws in Las Vegas. I mean, they were playing at a former minor league baseball stadium.
Cashman Field.
It was awful. The television was. Now, I was surprised that Seattle didn't make the move over to the UFL because I thought the Sea Dragons, I thought they drew pretty well in the old CenturyLink Field or whatever it's called now, where the Seattle Seahawks play.
What is it, Lumen? Or
yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was pretty good, for those first 4 or 5 games, in 2020, and it was not as good in 2023. And there is a guy who does a great podcast on YouTube, and he lives out there, and he says the Sea Dragons, he said back then, existed only on the internet. He said you can't find them anywhere else. And he said that in 2023. And I think that's some of the problem, is that you've got to promote it more, and you've got to come across more than just social media.
Well, so let me ask you a question, Joe, because if I'm not mistaken, you and your wife, you were season ticket holders to the Stallions, correct?
Correct.
And have they reached out to you for the 2026 season yet?
Yes, they did last week, and he's got to get back with me this week, and I'll do it. My family's had season tickets for most everything, all the way back to the World Football League.
Oh, wow. The Vulcans and the Americans.
The Birmingham Americans, yes.
Yep. Wow.
I've got stuff from back then, even. The least of the ones we had here was the XFL in 2001, and probably the AAF because it didn't even make a whole year. It's, you could win. I tell people, winning isn't going to pack the stadium. You can win every game 40-0, and we're not going to pack the stadium. You've got to convince people who don't know the names of the players, because there's not very many household names, if any, that this is something that they need to come to. And I think Redbird Capital, who's one of the owners, and I guess Fox, and I don't know how much of a stakeholder ESPN is, and The Rock is not, in my opinion. He might be paid to say what he has said, because he's not there at all this year.
No, zero. Nowhere to be found.
Zero. And I've never thought he was, because Redbird Capital is worth like $11 billion. You got to promote it, and you can't do just social media. It's a cheap way to do it. You got to come on radio, you got to do TV, and you got to figure out any other kind of way, and you got to make it an event.
Well, so let me ask you this. Since they have reached out to you about re-upping your season tickets, do you think that means anything about the future of the league, that they will absolutely be back in Birmingham next year?
I don't know. I think they will be.
I mean, I think they will too, but I'm
think
just
they
curious.
will.
Yeah.
But I wonder if the response is real poor, if they might decide, hey, we only got like 1,000 people. Let's cut it.
Yeah, so this is kind of like their way to survey to see the interest.
Could be. I've never had them reach out this early.
Interesting. Very
really
interesting.
But this guy, he's a clown, and I don't even want to mention his name. And he's an XFL guy, and he would love for it to go back to that. In fact, if you go further in the podcast, he talks about how they should have taken a couple of franchises and kept the name XFL.
Well, and not to mention the fact that it would be a lot different if this was somebody in St. Louis, Missouri, that is criticizing the other, franchises because they're not drawing 30,000 like the Battlehawks. But again, DC, they're averaging more than Birmingham, but it's like 14,000.
And really what's there is probably less than 10, and they don't have the stadium for the playoff game to host it.
Right.
They can't get it. I mean, if you're not named St. Louis, maybe all the other 7 ought to be on alert. You could be moved.
Yeah, that's a great point. Joe, always great to hear from you. Have a great Memorial Day weekend and enjoy the game. I know you and your wife will be at the Stallions game tomorrow, so enjoy the game.
Thank you, Joe.
All of you be safe.
All right. Thank you, Joe.
As well.
Appreciate it. Joe joins us from time to time there on Tuesdays at Social Taco. Always great to hear from Joe. Joe's a trumpeter of the Birmingham metropolitan sports scene. If it is a Birmingham entity, he has always supported it, and that says a lot about Joe and his family. More three-man front on this Friday. We'll do some Pat Ponders a little bit later. When we come back, a former USC player is ripping Lincoln Riley. Who could it be, and what did he say? That's next. It is 116, Jocks 94.5. A prevailing story in college football earlier this week was the potential of the Notre Dame USC series going belly up. So the contract establishing an annual game between the two teams, it's been around for quite some time, but now there's the potential that this series between USC and Notre Dame to go bye-bye. USC has reportedly made it clear that they want the game to continue. The contract ends this year, but they want it to continue. But they want the game to be started at the end. They want it to start at the beginning of the season instead of the end of the season. Notre Dame has reportedly made it clear they want the game to continue, but they want it to be played in October in Indiana and in November in Los Angeles when it goes back to USC. So that's kind of the back and forth. So the future of the rivalry beyond that, in the eyes of USC leaders, hinges in part to what happens with the format of the college football playoff, namely the number of automatic qualifiers guaranteed to the Big Ten Conference for future playoff fields. USC leaders are saying privately that the best course forward for this century-old rivalry with Notre Dame would be for them to continue their arrangement just one season at a time. So let's go ahead and put a Band-Aid on it, have a couple years, and then we'll look at the long-term thoughts of this rivalry. Anything else, according to USC officials, this is what they told the LA Times, is strategically a bad decision. So USC does not want to go long-term with Notre Dame. Fox Sports analyst and former USC Trojan Petros Papadakis, who you hear a good bit on the Fox family of networks during college football, this is what he had to say about Lincoln Riley and this rivalry. Keep in mind, he played at USC.
And that's kind of the beauty of USC Notre Dame, is that it transcends conference realignment. It transcends the NIL, and it transcends all of these different twists and turns in the sport. If it could survive world wars, it should be able to survive the selfishness and the absolute myopic, because Lincoln Riley doesn't like it. Who the hell is Lincoln Riley?
Yes.
Papadakis.
Love it. From the top rope.
That is a great question. I think a lot of people asking who is Lincoln Riley after he left Norman, Oklahoma.
Like, what has happened to Lincoln Riley?
Now he's still collecting those checks.
Well, sure,
he's living nice, but how much has his stock fallen?
I mean, he was going to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
5 years ago.
Yep.
But take a former player at USC who has a pretty good microphone. He also does radio in Southern California. I think he does a show, if I'm not mistaken, on the Fox radio affiliate. And for him to say what he did about Lincoln Riley, that's saying a lot.
Yes.
A former player.
Yeah.
Well, and I think when you pair this, because it was last year, right, when he didn't want to play LSU anymore, correct? And so,
literally a month or two before, he was begging the Big Ten, to step in and to get rid of that game against LSU.
So you now have two examples of him not wanting to play big boy matchups at a program that has just about as rich of a history in college football as anywhere else.
Do you guys agree, though, when there was that speculation when he was still at Oklahoma and he reportedly, he kept coming out and saying, I have no interest in the LSU job, paraphrasing, whatever.
He didn't want to be in the SEC.
He didn't want to be in the SEC.
Absolutely not.
And hence the reason why when Oklahoma decided to come to the SEC, what did he do? He left.
Yep.
He bolted.
And then he had no idea that ultimately USC was going to be in the Big Ten.
No, you're absolutely right.
And he was terrible at trying to prepare brisket.
So Lincoln Riley wants to play Notre Dame at the beginning of the year.
Bad.
Real bad.
But Notre Dame wants to play in October when it's in the years when it's at Notre Dame, and when it's in Los Angeles, they'd play in November.
That seems pretty fair.
So they're doing USC a solid by saying, okay, it could be bad weather in October, but in November, we'll come to LA.
Seems legitimate. Seems perfectly fine.
800-239-WJOX. Let's go to our buddy Pelham Gator. Hey, PG, what's up?
Hey, guys.
guys, man, I hope you have a happy Memorial Weekend.
You too.
And, oh, yeah. And going to say, man, it started off great for the Gator Nation when you can always beat them corny dogs in the softball game right off the bat because everybody likes to beat the corny dogs. I always call the Poodles, Georgia. So that started off good, and now they got the lacrosse team in the Final Four. Can you picture that playing North Carolina? I guess FSU Dave will both for North Carolina. He loves the ACC. But, yeah, and the baseball team will make the tournament. Good weekend for me. And I tell you what, guys, I got to go meet Don at the Ridge, so I guess we'll celebrate a little bit. I don't know what he's celebrating. He's got some great breaking news again. So
does he really? He called in about an hour ago, and he didn't give us any breaking news, did he?
Well, he did give us some. No, he did. He gave us breaking news. I don't know. Did you know about this, that Kaylee, the inflatable that you guys got him for his birthday,
right.
He said that she was no longer available, that she got punctured when they were at Talladega.
Yeah. That's his story, huh?
Well,
and he's sticking to it.
But
is there more to this story, PG?
Well, somebody had texted in, and I'll read you this text, PG, on how she got punctured. Now, this is relatively clean. Don bit her on the neck. She pooted and flew out the window.
I ain't heard that one, but that's going to be used again and again.
So pass that along when you meet him for lunch.
I will. He's a vampire,
I know.
Hey, you noticed he did something else special. He's changed his looks. So he's going to be totally different when you see him Tuesday.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean he changed?
Did he get a haircut, or what are we talking about?
Yeah, he got a haircut all over that face.
Oh.
So, yeah, he's going to be.
He shaved his Don Johnson stubble?
Well, yeah, he got rid of that, whatever crabgrass he was trying to grow on the side of his face. Poor Don. We're starting off
Man, with friends like PG, who needs enemies, right?
Ooh.
Right, yeah. He's been my next pick along like Jim from Tuscaloosa or somebody, Next, they'll be big buddies. But, yeah, you guys will see a different face Tuesday. But I've got to spread that story about the Kaylee, and that was a good one. I appreciate it, guys. Y'all have a great weekend.
Hey,
Thanks,
you
PG.
too,
You too.
I love PG's laugh.
Oh, it's infectious. It's great. He loves life. It's awesome.
He does. Yeah. Good. Another person. Great example of good people.
No doubt about it. When we come back on Three-Man Front in a moment after Molly's going to tell us about her trip to Diamonds Direct earlier this week.
Well, yeah, Diamonds Direct. Well, I got myself a gorgeous bracelet when I was there.
Oh, okay.
They are the go-to place for life's most meaningful moments, and they have exceptional service, that quality, and that stands the test of time. And their team is committed to building long-term relationships. They're not just making a sale, and they also take time to understand your needs for now and in the future. I went earlier this week, and Sasha, my diamond expert, she was able to help me understand everything that I was looking for, my style, my budget. And when you're ready to upgrade, like I might be in the next couple of years, you'll receive up to 110% off your original purchase towards your new selection. And that's a signature perk that sets them apart from everywhere else. Like I said, that's our friends over at Diamonds Direct.
We'll do some Pat Ponders as we wrap up the week coming up. This is Three-Man Front on Jocks 94.5. It is Memorial Day weekend. Take a moment to remember the reason for Monday and what took place. Memorial Day weekend here on Jocks 94.5. We are live. We will not be here on Monday, but we'll be back with you on Tuesday at 10 a.m. Over the weekend, come see Alabama's largest selection of Sierra 1500 AT4X trucks. All the absolute best prices you're going to find anywhere, and it's at Courtesy GMC in Trussville. How about getting up to $8,500 off select models? But hurry, these deals are not going to last long. Up to $13,000 off MSRP on the SLT four-wheel drives in stock today at Courtesy GMC in Trussville. 2 full truckloads were dropped off just a couple days ago. These are going to go fast, especially over this holiday weekend. So get by, see Josh Gargis, Drew Lawley, the fantastic team there at Courtesy GMC. Check them out online at courtesybirmingham.com. Courtesy GMC, right off of I-459 exit 32.
5 questions from Pat, maybe 1 from BB. We do it every day. This is Pat Ponders.
I want to know what you're thinking. Tell me what's on your mind.
It's time for Pat Ponders.
Brought to you each and every day by the aforementioned Courtesy GMC in Trussville. CourtesyBirmingham.com is their website. Question number 1. We were all out at the Hoover Met yesterday watching baseball. Give me one improvement you would love to see for next year's tournament. It could be anything from the venue, format, or heck, even concession ideas. Give me one idea you would like to see for next year's SEC baseball tournament.
I just went to the one concession stand, so this is probably not fair because I don't know if they offered these things, but I would like more, from what I saw, food kiosks with like specialty foods.
See, I was going to say, what if you had, and this would, I understand this is probably a difficult thing, but what if every day, like, let's say you have LSU, Auburn, Texas, and Tennessee playing, and you have one menu item specific for each team that's playing that day. So there's a little bit of that local connection.
Yeah. Well, yes, because you could totally do it.
Mm-hmm.
Or just have one menu item throughout the tournament that you associate with every school.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like Nashville hot chicken, that would be easy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or LSU corn dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. I think they would embrace it.
They'd probably rather have gumbo, but.
Or you could do jambalaya.
Yeah, jambalaya. But yeah, no, I think that's a.
See, I like the specialty idea because I'm going to be honest, I didn't really have any complaints.
Well,
bigger Ferris wheel.
Well, here's Pat. Me and Pat had an idea.
We were reconstructing the Hoover Met
because we love
yesterday.
what they've done with the concourse out in the back. And we were talking to Tom Hart earlier. What if they had a slide and you had the pool or whatever? But we're thinking luxury seating for folks that want to pay that premium. And
out in the left center field.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Left center field, or you could do it in left field. You bring in the fence, you put up a big wall,
kind of like Plainsman Park.
Okay, and this would be a temporary wall, but you've got the tiered seating like you saw at the PGA Championship at Quail Hollow, where they outfit it. You got railing, you got actual flooring. You don't feel like you're on scaffolding. And you have that big blue wall out there. And you've got cutouts. And then you have like the mesh screen like they have at some of the major league parks where there you're enjoying yourself, but you're watching the game through the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good idea because
like
that is
that.
something that, and I understand, I guess, on campuses, it's typically the student section, but having more of a presence in the outfield because we know a lot of these schools, you hit a home run, everyone throws the beer up. I'm not saying you need to do that necessarily in Hoover, but just more of that presence in the outfield so that when you hit a home run.
Love everything they've done. If we're just we're going to keep adding things like, hey, what if you did this?
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
The number one complaint I hear now is the fact that they still don't sell beer.
Yeah. I could see that.
Is that a SEC policy?
I mean,
I wouldn't think it's a Hoover policy, right?
If it's, If I'm not mistaken, almost every SEC school allows it.
Yeah, no, I did notice that. I get it. It's nice. I like having a beer at a baseball game too, but it's also fine not it's fine just being there without it.
But that's one of the major things I've seen from other people around the conference.
They offer it, though,
here.
in some of the premium areas. They just don't offer it. Yeah.
If you have
to pay to go. You have to pay, and it's a certain club, yes, but there's alcohol that's offered there, but it's not to the
And maybe the reason
masses.
maybe the reason, and again, I'm just spitballing here. Somebody can correct me on the text line, but maybe, just maybe, they don't have it in the regular concession areas is because that is typically run by high school athletic associations.
And you got children working
to
those.
raise money.
That's a great point.
And that might be, obviously something, but you could sell it having obviously
have a kiosk.
Right. So I've seen a lot of stuff on social media, and I've actually, when we started this segment, I started getting text messages from people saying beer.
Yeah.
So
I would like the actual, if you get the vendors.
Mm-hmm.
Cold beer. Barking. Cold beer.
Oh, yeah. I love that. Cotton
Peanuts.
candy. Yeah.
Cotton candy. Yeah.
Question number 2. In a recent poll conducted by Involved Media, they surveyed 1,200 sports fans and asked them which sports leagues they follow the most. Now, the NFL led all sports at 79%. Next was college football at 52%. Major League Baseball and the NBA came in at 49%, while college basketball was 36%. So of the stats that I just gave out, which surprises you the most, one way or another? NFL was overwhelming.
No surprise. What'd you say college basketball was again?
36%.
In the NBA?
They were 5th.
And
college basketball was 5th. NBA and Major League Baseball tied at 49%.
I'm surprised, and I mean, I guess I'm not because I get it. It's professional sports. I might be a little surprised that college basketball and the NBA aren't closer, especially because we hear so many people. And I know for us it's different because here people have, a fire has been lit under, our listeners here over the last couple of years with college basketball. But yeah, I'm a little surprised because it seems like generally people agree that the NBA is not a great product right now, and college basketball is, in my opinion, certainly much better right now.
I'd go the NBA.
Thinking it would be higher or lower?
Honestly, a little lower.
It pains me that the NBA and Major League Baseball are still. I think Major League Baseball is a vastly superior product.
Mm-hmm.
What was right behind the NFL?
College football.
Yeah.
At 52%.
Okay. Yeah. What Conrad said about how close the NBA and college basketball were.
13% less for college basketball than the NBA.
Yep.
But I'm like Molly, I thought the NBA would be behind college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Next question. This week, President Trump invited Tim Tebow to the White House along with the Florida basketball team.
Of course, why not?
Yeah. Do you think Tebow has a political future and will someday hold political office?
No.
No.
No, he'll do the he'll just do the public speaking circuit and think because he's very good at that and he already does do that. I think he'll stay in that lane more than the political.
I'd be shocked if he did.
But if he did run for something in Florida, he would win. He would absolutely win.
You gotta have a mean streak in you somewhere if you're gonna get into that game. I don't think Tim Tebow has it. He's got a competitive streak, but I'm talking about a mean, hey, we got to do this. We got to smear whoever you're running against in this primary. And I think that's against everything that Tim Tebow stands for.
I feel like it'd almost be like Ben Carson, where I really liked Ben Carson in a lot of ways, but it was very obvious that he was essentially too good of a person to, be a serious presidential candidate, where it's like, I like you. I think you're probably a really good guy, but I don't know if you have that killer instinct.
I'm not saying he doesn't have a backbone, but I do want a leader that can get mean if he has to.
Absolutely.
When it comes to our overall safety and sovereignty as a country.
I agree.
Next question. Give me the over-under on the announced attendance tomorrow for the Birmingham Stallions game.
The over-under, I would set it at, you got kids that are out of school. I'm going to set it at 8,500, and I will go under.
See, I was honestly thinking, I was probably leaning like 7,500, and I might lean a little bit of this morning. I saw it when I was coming into work. There are a lot of people that were on the road this morning, and you could tell they had cars packed up, whether it was the lake, the beach, whatever. They're getting out of here for Memorial Day. So, yeah, I'd probably go 7,500.
Are those people the people
that would be going
that are typically going to your Stallions games?
That's true.
Fair question.
I think like 8,000, but I'd probably lean the under. Just because of that
everybody
reason.
thinks it will be under.
What's your guess? Just give me a number.
I think it will be about 6,000.
Okay.
Hope I'm wrong.
Prove us wrong, Birmingham.
Absolutely.
I can't go. We got a thing for our nephew.
So you're part of the problem.
I am.
You put
We love our nephew.
You put your family above the Stallions.
We love our nephew.
Don Don's going to have all that food go to waste.
Was asked, it was like, are you going to graduation? I said, no. He should have graduated high school.
Isn't that the expectation?
No, I'll have an envelope with a card and some money in it for the party on Saturday. That's all he cares about.
Yeah.
All right, here's the BB question for the day. In our public education system, the teaching of cursive writing has been abandoned for many years, and kids today only seem to print. Did you learn to write in cursive? And if so, do you still write in cursive? Do you think cursive writing should be once again taught in elementary schools?
I think it should be taught just from an autograph perspective when you're signing your name.
Hey, you never know you're going to be famous.
I guess you could chicken scratch it like some people do. I did learn in cursive. My mom was a first grade teacher. We learned it in third grade, I think, second or third grade. And I will use it from time to time, but rarely. But yeah, I think that it should still be taught. I had to learn it. I want the next generations to have to learn it.
Yeah, see,
There's
that's a
some
difficult
letters, though.
one.
The Z, the letter Z.
That one's tricky.
Yeah.
The G and the T, I think those are the ones that are like essentially the same. There's just one extra squiggle. Yes. I learned cursive around the same time, second, third grade, something like that. For me personally, I've never seen a use for it. Like my mom writes in cursive because she's very proper. My grandmother used to write in cursive when she would write letters and things like that. But personally, I don't think it's a big deal because no one writes in cursive in day-to-day life. But you could also probably say that about a lot of things you learned in school. So
I learned cursive, like what y'all said, second grade. And my current handwriting, I would say, is like a hybrid. Like when I was in high school and even in college.
Print cursive?
Sure. Like when I was in high school or even in college and I would take notes in class, I would usually write in cursive because it was quicker and you didn't have to pick up your pen really. So I think they should learn it. I think it's useful. Like I said, I still consider myself someone that writes in cursive. Like I said, mine's kind of a mix.
I think everyone should have to learn calligraphy.
Huh.
Not us. I'm talking about now.
Else.
Yeah.
I will say one of those things is whenever I see something in cursive, and you can make fun of me, but it's one of those where it's like, all right, I really got to lock in to read this. Like, all right, I gotta focus.
I was about to ask, do you have problems reading things that are in cursive?
I mean, it's not like a problem. It's just hard. Like I have to actively focus on what I'm reading as opposed to just being able to skip.
So Mississippi State's wearing those helmets. You're like, who is that?
God, Texas A&M, maroon.
Who is that?
Could be anybody.
Do you write in cursive?
I do.
You still write in cursive?
I do.
Like that's your go-to when you write anything. You're in cursive.
Neither one of my kids can write worth a darn. Like even their signature is terrible.
I have terrible handwriting.
Yes, you do.
But again, it's like a half and half.
It's like you're trying to write with your left hand that day.
Yes.
Hey, as long as you can read it.
That's true.
That's all that matters.
Yeah.
She's got the hot pink pen, though. How can you read that?
I like my pink pen.
Oh, I just don't know. I can't read it from here. I get pretty good eyesight.
That's the point.
I know.
She doesn't want prying eyes on her notes.
Did you write another soliloquy? Soliloquy.
That's this week's Pat Ponders, brought to you by Courtesy GMC and Trustful. CourtesyBirmingham.com is their website. Go by and see them this weekend. It's Memorial Day weekend, and they get some great deals. Brand new truckloads come in just a couple of days ago. They will go fast. That's Courtesy GMC and Trustful.
We finish three-man front for the week, and we finish it with your text because you are the reason that we do this show. We continue on Jocks 94.5.
We will get to your text messages to wrap up the week at 205-834-9450 on the Courtesy GMC text line. So before all of this Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson story that came out by Pablo Torre a couple weeks ago, Las Vegas was taking bets on the win total for North Carolina, which was at 7.5. And before the story broke on April the 15th, 79% of the bets were on the over of North Carolina winning 7.5 or more games, which would be obviously 8 or more. Since April 15th, a whopping 89% of the bets on North Carolina's 7.5 win total have come in on the under. 79% before the story broke on the over 7.5. Since the story broke, it has now gone the other way, and 89% of those betting on the win total for North Carolina is taking the under.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of that.
So here's my question.
Before Jordan Hudson, before any of this, I had said I thought that he would have moderate success there.
So why not lower the win total?
Yeah.
I mean, if 89% of the vote, 89% of the bets are now coming in.
Yeah, it would be in their favor to move it.
Then why not move it down?
That's a good point.
Text line is open, 205-834-9450. It's a myriad of texts that have come throughout the show, various topics if you're just now joining us. And this one reads, how long was Conrad in that cave? No homemade ice cream? If you're just missing it, Conrad has never had or seen homemade ice cream.
I was in that cave for about 5 hours, though.
He was.
It was a long day.
Conrad, think of a Wendy's Frosty on homemade ice cream, says one of our listeners.
Okay.
Mike in Huntsville, did Conrad live under a rock? Not that we know of.
No, I lived inside of one for 5 hours.
Good answer. Dwight says there is a ball that you put all of the ingredients for homemade ice cream in, and you throw it around, and it will turn it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Why doesn't the SEC tournament play 7-inning games, shorter games, and saves pitchers?
I would not be a fan of that.
No, not 7.
What are we playing? High school ball?
JJ says, got to get Molly to watch Mr. Holland's Opus. I don't know if I've ever seen that movie.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever. Yeah.
Richard Dreyfuss.
Never heard of it.
Is it good?
I was bored.
You're bored? Okay.
Drake says, guys, I didn't know the young lady is making $1 million at Texas Tech to pitch softball.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Is that the one that went from Oklahoma? I thought they had maybe gotten a transfer from Oklahoma, but maybe not.
She might have been from Fresno State.
A lot of great things that come from there. Kalen DeBoer and Aaron Judge, just to name two.
Tommy in Trustful's got some good ones here. Cursive, how do kids sign their names now? And speaking of graduations, what's proper protocol when your kid's name gets called incorrectly at graduation?
That happened to me. Shocker, I know, with my name.
Well, how did they mispronounce your name?
It was Von Order, so it wasn't like terrible, but they also didn't announce, you know how, I'll toot my own horn, but you know, they'll do the magna cum laude, whatever you won, and they didn't do that for me.
Well, maybe if you had good grades, you would have won something.
I had good grades, and I
thought that they had like missed, it said like Conrad Van Oder, or left the R out.
No, that would have been unfortunate.
Was that at Alabama or Hayden?
At Alabama.
This one reads, if I'm writing for someone else, I print. If it's just for me, cursive. Okay. Mad Mike says, I write in all capital letters.
I do too most of the time.
Do you?
I like, yeah. Or when if I sign a card with my name, it's always in capital letters because that's how my dad writes.
Stephen out of Lexington, who's originally from Birmingham, said, we started cursive in 2nd grade where Landrum's mom taught. They don't teach it anymore in school, which I think is horrible. I noticed the other day my daughter taught herself to write in cursive. She's finishing 5th grade this year.
That's really cool.
That is awesome. Stephen, hope you're doing well. Tim says, I write like a 3rd grader with broke hands. Fat Joe says, I'll take the under for 100. Going back to Belichick, I think.
I mean, I just don't know how you could confidently go the over right now.
Jason.
What is that? It's just a bunch of squiggles on a piece of paper.
Signature.
It's my beautiful signature.
Jason says, y'all's favorite thing to grill on Memorial Day is? It changes for me from year to year.
Mm-hmm.
Probably still go burgers.
I'll smoke a Boston butt.
Probably a hot dog or a burger.
Okay. Pat.
Quiche.
Little finger sandwiches.
Can't hide money.
No, you really can't. How about a homemade ice cream stand with a special flavor for every team in the SEC tournament?
There we go. Now I'll try it.
Okay.
I don't know if Dippin' Dots would be too happy about that, but, we'll work something out.
What about Cool Hand Luke for Molly?
Do you like Western movies? Like old school Westerns?
Didn't we? Yeah, you
I
watched.
watched Tombstone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that's like old school, but
It's old school.
I did see Tombstone last year. I love Tombstone.
Drake
It's a great
says the
movie.
pitcher is from Stanford.
Okay.
Okay.
I knew it was red and white.
Well, we did it. Live programming for 4 hours today, kids.
It'll be 5 for me.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Solid 4 hours from you, Conrad. Molly?
Thank you.
In all seriousness, thank you, everyone, for tuning into this program, interacting with us each and every day. We love you all. Let's remember what Memorial Day is all about, and it's the brave men and women who have died for this great country that we live in and get to operate in every single day. Have a great rest of your Friday. Be safe out there wherever you may be, because we want to see you on Tuesday. Paul is next.